American Craftsman podcast is sponsored by Hayfla. Hayfla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture making industries. From hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, wood glue, shop carts, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayfla.com. All right, we're back. I'm still learning the timing. Yeah, because it's, we've had that same intro for 144 episodes. This is episode 144.
That's quite an achievement.
I'm sure you guys recognize that voice. And I'm sure it'll be in the title. So we got Jon here with us again.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Welcome, Jon Peters.
Yeah.
Always good being here. We just shot a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, when do you think that'll be out?
Probably Tuesday, I'm thinking.
Yeah. So I guess we can give the people a sneak preview, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So, did a video all about clamps.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of clamp videos out there, but the older I get, the more I become a minimalist with woodworking, and it's sort of like just the bare minimum of what you need, and anything else just takes up space and waste time.
I was going to say that fits a lot of things. You still talking about clamps?
That's so true. I think you go through your life collecting stuff like a squirrel. And then you get to be my age, and you're like, what do you do with all this stuff?
Yeah. And we gave a pretty unvarnished and unbiased review of a whole host of clamps.
I think so. I think that there's so many products that you're getting kind of a skewed review because there's often a sponsor attached. And so there's no sponsor here. It's just really just trying to get good information out. And I think that's pretty refreshing. It's, kind of just an unpolished look at what do you really need, because that's, when it comes down to it, that's really what you want. What you need is what you want.
Yeah. And we use a lot of clamps for a lot of different things. We don't just like build one style of furniture or cabinetry. You never know what we're going to need a clamp for around here.
But if someone were to say to you 3 years ago, if the Dubuque clamps would be like the majority of the clamps that you really need, you would have been like, what?
Yeah, I wouldn't have believed it.
It's like the old dog, new trick thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean? There's another clamp that's better than these things that I've been using for the last 30 years?
Yeah, and we were pretty vocal about, Bessie's being the best clamp. But you only know what you know.
That's it.
Yeah. When we brought them into the shop, I was a skeptic too. I thought, I've seen this design before. This can't be better than the one I've, kind of invested my belief in. My belief system on clamps was based around the K-body.
Well, I know that. So I got the Rockler clamps maybe 5 years ago. I did a few projects for Rockler, and it was so funny because the person I was working with, I haven't talked to them in a long, long time, but he was like, well, just let me know what you need and I can send you a few things. So I pick out like one little clamp thing. I'm like, I guess I could use that because I really am like an old dog who doesn't want to learn any new tricks. So I'm like, I guess I could use that. And literally like a week later, 2 pallets of stuff.
Oh my God.
Shows up in my driveway, and I just really can't use any of it. And so those clamps were some of the things that came in, and I thought, well, I really do like these clamps because they're light. And they became the main clamps that I used for so long. until I was over here one day, maybe 2 years ago, and you guys were using the Dubuque clamps.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that the Rockler clamps are just a cheap knockoff of the Dubuque clamps.
Yeah, an imitation.
They really are. I mean, I would always use them because they were lightweight, but I would often get aggravated because they would not function properly.
Yeah.
And so say I had like 5 or 6 of them, there's 1 or 2 that just would not work. Something about them would not work. So anyway, I like the lightweight, but the Dubuque clamps are just a much better clamp.
It's a shame too, because, not a lot of people really know about the Dubukes, but a lot of people, especially, it's such a widely accessible place, Rockler. Like a lot of people probably know about these Rockler clamps. And if you were to pick up that clamp as your first introduction to this aluminum body, universal clamp or whatever the hell they're calling it, you'd be like, man, this kind of clamp sucks. Because, feeling that Rockler clamp, that thing, it's pretty bad.
There's something wrong with the threads. In every one of my clamps, like the threads, you have to hold the body of the clamp while you're turning the knob or whatever.
Yep.
Otherwise, the clamp will turn because the threads are so, they're not machined well.
Yeah.
That's what it is. What would you say? We got those Dubukes like 2 years now?
Yeah.
We still just spin them with one finger in and out.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell just by looking at them. They're just, they're actually beautiful. They're actually like a little piece of artwork if you think about it. You could kind of go off the deep end with artwork, but
it's minimalist done, perfectly.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're really nice. And it's a shame because I've tried to look up some information about Dubuque and there's really nothing out there.
So what is it? Just like a factory somewhere in
I guess
in Iowa that's just banging these things out?
Yeah, they make those. They make wooden block clamps like the Jorgensen that we were looking at, and they make another clamp. It's like a wooden cam clamp, so it's got like a F clamp style bar, wooden top jaw, wooden bottom jaw, and it's got like a little cam to do the final clamp. I think they use those like building guitars a lot.
Yes.
So you never picked one up?
No, it has a name. It's like, is it like a moose clamp or something like that? But it's called Dubuque Clamp Works. Dubuque Clamp Works.
Yeah, Lee Valley's selling them now.
Yeah, Woodcraft sells them.
I think Rockler bought a few and then had them manufactured over in China.
Probably.
Well, that style of clamp has been around. My first experience was also the Rockler clamp.
The blue one?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Oh, shoot.
They don't even have a website.
Almost 20 years, maybe. It's a little bit different than yours.
Okay.
But they still had blue. The clamp body itself was silver.
Okay.
And then it had little blue fixtures on it. And I think they actually work a little bit better than the ones you have.
They probably do, yeah.
Yeah, Dubuque doesn't even have a website.
No. I can't find one either.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't go direct to consumer in today's world. Why not?
Yeah. I get the feeling it's probably, some older people who own the business. They've probably been in it for 100 years, or the family, whatever. They've been making clamps for 50 years. They have no desire to be on social media, and they don't need a website because they're just selling to Woodcraft and Rockler. Well, I don't know if they're selling to Rockler. Lee Valley.
I bet they don't sell to Rockler.
Yeah.
McFeely's.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it Rockler stealing the Dubuque design and sending it to China, or was it J. Katz Moses stealing the Veritas router plane and sending it to China?
Shots fired across the bow.
I saw some of that going down. I was kind of, I don't know. I don't do that much getting involved with the social media stuff, but I saw some. I think Walter filled me in on it.
Yeah,
I like to poke a little bit of fun when I see when I feel it's the ribbing is deserved.
I hear you. And Walter said, he goes, Jeff doesn't hold any punches.
No.
Oh, I hold a lot. I just let some of them fly.
Yeah, you should hear what goes on here when we're not recording.
Oh yeah. We'd be in big trouble.
This is our best behavior.
I hear you.
Yeah, you got to be diplomatic.
You have to be. There's so many things I don't share on social media and Instagram. A lot of that is because I'm like, who even cares?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I mean, there's so many things you see and you're like, really? Sometimes I'll just put stuff up because I haven't posted in so long. I'm like, well, maybe I should say something. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like what we were talking about before, off camera or off recording, whatever. Like, certain people, it's like, I'm not here to hear you talk about this. It's like, talk about woodworking.
Right.
You're a woodworker. I'm here for you to talk about woodworking. I don't need your opinion on all these other things,
Yeah, I never share my opinion on any of the social matters that are going on just because I don't want to get into a conversation that's going to require thought. I just I already spend too much time on social media. If I responded or said something, then next thing you know, I'd feel compelled to defend my position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
There's enough people talking about enough nonsense. I don't have to get involved in that.
Yeah, and these conversations via social media are not effective on any level. If the three of us are here talking about whatever the new hot button social topic, we might be able to share some insight with one another, and maybe you might convince Rob of a good point. I might convince you of something. That doesn't happen over social media. It's all anger and vitriol.
I agree with that.
It doesn't even people. We're going way off topic here. Some people think that, if you have a platform, you have an obligation to speak out against injustices and comment on whatever things that are going on. But those sort of interactions are very non-productive.
I agree. And then you run the risk of talking about something that you're misinformed about or uninformed about.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to dedicate energy to that. And so there's definitely things I'm passionate about and things I feel pretty strongly about, but I don't want to get into those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind. I mean, we've had some conversations about some things like maybe not political things, but just about books and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't share like some of the books I'm reading on social media because some people might think like, well, what are you reading that book for?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well,
then you got to defend.
Yeah.
I'm trying to broaden my worldview. How dare you?
Yeah, just,
What was your expression though? I keep trying to remember, like when you talk about how the posts and videos do well when people really get angered.
If you're getting hate, you're doing your video's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get hate over which glue you're going to use, let alone.
So there's a change though. You'll get hate on shorts, but I very rarely get hate on an actual project video.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I might get constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But on a short, it's like, this idiot doesn't know what he's doing. Just whatever. And then as soon as I get that video, that comment, I'm like, okay, this video is going to do well.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I did a short video about fixing all of a sudden the brick started to fall into the ground.
Mm-hmm, I saw that.
And like, this has got to be a chipmunk, but how's this chipmunk getting in here? So sure enough, and we just talked about this, when the guys did the gutters, they didn't connect the downspout. And instead of making it into a thing, we just let it go because we decided the downspout kind of didn't look great there anyway. So when I did the brickwork for the patio, but when they did the driveway, they did brickwork that's actually set in mortar. When those guys did that, instead of like cutting the pipe and capping the pipe, they just broke it. Maybe 5 feet into the work that I did and then just relayed the brick. So, of course, the sand would have washed down that brick anyway, or down that pipe anyway. but a chipmunk came along and gave it some help, and that's why it started to fall. Like, I don't know if you ever had that game, like Ice Break or whatever, when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah. Don't break the ice.
Don't break the ice.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the brick is falling like the Don't Break the Ice. So I'm like, I'll just shoot a quick video. I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll make a short. I'll get the brick fixed, and we'll see how it does. And it actually is doing really well on, I think it's like 60 or 70,000 views on Facebook right now. And I think maybe 2 million views on Facebook and 60,000 on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I left a comment.
You did?
Didn't somebody say something like, Quickcrete is only for, I thought I saw, because, like when you're watching now, like when you watch a video, a comment will pop up. It's like they want you to like see these negative comments.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that feature.
I might be thinking of something else. But
they're trying to incite interaction of the negative kind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that plug is going to work. I just made a handful of concrete and threw some stones in there and plugged the hole. It was done by 8:30 in the morning. So I was like, slept the rest of the day.
I was in the pro chipmunk camp.
I know you are. Are you friends with the chipmunks?
I am. I'm friends with all the animal life. Even the ones that get into my house, I somehow have to befriend them.
I was friends. Chipmunks are cute, but man, they're rough on the house.
Yeah. The raccoons are the only ones that I go out there and actually assault.
And how do you do that?
With a big broom. Like one was on my front porch, and they're really smart. I have like this little opening in the front porch roof. It's got a board over the top, like you have an attic.
Sure.
And so it's like there's a board that's held down by gravity, and it's like picture framed out.
A scuttle hole.
Yeah, so I have a scuttle hole in the porch ceiling, and he's climbing up the side of my house with his eyes set on getting into that scuttle hole. So I go out there with a broom, and I did my best Reggie Jackson on him. I knocked him over the hedges.
That's funny. I'm sure that even affect him. Animals are so strong.
Oh yeah.
No, he was probably about 2.5 feet long with 6 inches of fur. And I hit him with the soft end of the broom. I mean, I didn't hit him with a stick.
It's funny.
You can't get much bat speed on the thin end of a broom.
No.
I think that animals are just so tough compared to humans.
Oh.
Like a deer.
Oh yeah.
If a deer wants to kill you, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 100-pound deer. Doesn't even have to be that. And unless you have a stick, how do you defend yourself against a deer? Because it's just going to go up on its hind legs and kick you.
Yeah. And the hooves can be, they're sharp.
You can hear them pounding through the woods.
Yeah.
And they're outside. I mean, they're just so tough. So I was mountain biking a couple of days ago. I came around this corner, and there's a mother deer and 2 fawns, I guess is what they're called. And the mother just stayed right in the trail. Mm-hmm. And I was maybe 7 feet away from it. And I'm like, go on, get out of here. And I'm just like, holy shit, I hope this thing gets out of here, because I'm going to be using my bicycle as a shield or something, because they're just tough.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up deer hunting, and like sometimes you would either just see a deer or you would shoot a deer and find out that like it had been shot with an arrow before. The arrow went straight through it and it survived, or they get hit by a car and they like have like a gimped out leg. Are you allowed to say gimp? Is that? If not, I apologize.
If you're talking about a deer's leg, I think it's okay.
You could say that.
I'm not even sure the origins of that word, but like, they have a real mangled leg that,
Canceled.
Yeah.
Jeff got canceled. Oh, man. That's funny.
Yeah.
I saw this video the other day of a moose chasing a big bear.
Jeez.
Like, I've heard that moose are really, really ferocious, or not ferocious. But
I wouldn't want to run into a moose.
Like that. They weigh like over 1,000 pounds. Like they'll just run you over.
Right.
And they'll stomp you out. Like they're really territorial.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hippos.
That's what
Hippos, I think,
thinking.
are more dangerous than crocodiles.
And and like lions and stuff. They kill more people in Africa than any of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I see at the zoo, like a video from the zoo, and the guy's like feeding the hippo and he's like slapping his tongue. I'm like, you're crazy. Like, I don't care how docile this hippo is right now. We've all heard about what was the gorilla that, like, you know, the lady worked really closely with. And
I thought that was a chimpanzee.
Maybe, yeah. And then it just one day just tears her limb from limb.
Chimpanzees are way scarier than gorillas, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Joe Rogan did a thing on that.
What was that movie? It was a Jordan Peele movie that came out with the aliens, with the UFO.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I forget what it was called. It came out recently, but there's a part in the movie where there's like a chimpanzee that's like a movie star, and they're on like the set of a like a talk show, and it just, something happens, a balloon pops and it loses it, and it just kills basically everybody on the set.
I think they just rip your face off.
Yeah.
I mean, their hands are so strong.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, there's a documentary on Netflix right now, I think called Chimpanzee World or something. And when you see them in the trees just swinging, I mean, can you imagine having that kind of strength in your arms, and they're swinging from their arms, their legs, and they are meat eaters.
Yeah.
They're not strict vegetarians. I think gorillas are strict vegetarians.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, like chimpanzees will like murder other chimpanzees and like eat them.
Yeah.
They are closest to humans.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to find the origin of the word, but I just found it's a derogatory term.
Well, I didn't mean it. It's the intent behind the word. I was talking about deer.
That reminds me of that movie from, it was The Usual Suspects.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the one guy.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it. It's what Jeff said.
Yes.
And that was Kevin Spacey played that part.
Yes, yes.
That was a good movie.
It was a great movie.
I've seen it, but I can't.
It goes back there.
Yeah.
It was
That's
like
Kaiser Soze, right?
Yeah, Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that had come up just recently in another conversation I was having, I think with my wife or something, that movie title came up. It's so funny that you know how things get linked in your life, you know, reoccurring.
Yeah. That happened to me the other day. So I'm in this group chat with a bunch of guys on Instagram, a bunch of other woodworkers, and the one guy was somewhere out west. He sends a picture of, or a video of, pork roll, and a lot of the guys in this group are from Jersey. So you have all the North Jersey guys who call it Taylor ham. And then maybe I'm the only one that calls it pork roll. But
I call it Taylor ham.
Yeah.
I'm from North Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. So I sent a picture that I had like come across. It's this guy, Hard Rock Nick. And he's this real like Guido looking kind. I'm probably not even allowed to say Guido.
I was like, wait, did he just say that?
It's okay. We got an Italian in the room.
Yeah, wow. And in New Jersey, Guido has it's a whole other context. You know what I mean? This real Guido guy, he's got like the.
What are we going to call this episode? G is for cancel.
The last episode.
I have to do.
That's funny.
Where is it? I have to do this. He's a real looking guy, and he's got like the chin strap mustache. He's like wearing lip gloss. It looks like he's got like fake eyelashes on. You know, he looks like one of those Jersey Shore kind of guys.
Oh God!
And I said, "This is what guys who call it Taylor ham look like."
Oh man!
But then later that night, it's like a couple hours later, I'm watching this YouTube video. And it's just like, you know, these guys who make these stupid commentary videos, and they made a video about this guy, and it was this whole like a 30-minute video about this guy, and I'm like, what? And it just came on like organically.
Crazy.
I'm like, it's so weird.
Oh man!
I have to say that Taylor ham is way better than pork roll.
It's not the same thing.
No, pork roll is like a generic brand, and I think Taylor ham is actually the brand name.
It doesn't say ham anywhere on it, though.
Wait, if you go to the supermarket...
It says Taylor pork roll.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. But it used to be called Taylor ham. Like back in the 1800s when it first came out, it was John Taylor's ham or something like that. And I guess the FDA or the USDA came in and said, well, legally you can't call this ham because the percent, it's got to be a certain percentage, whatever. So he had to change it.
So if you go to Costco, you can get pork roll.
Yeah.
I don't know if they sell Taylor pork roll there. Mm-hmm. But if you put the two together in a taste test, they're vastly different.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
The Taylor pork roll has almost like a tang to it or something.
Yeah, there's they actually put lactic acid in it or something like that.
It's in my view, it's just way better than just regular pork roll.
My wife buys the ShopRite brand, and they have a mild and a tangy. I like the tangy.
Maybe I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
So ShopRite brand, it's going to be, I'm assuming, less money because Taylor ham is expensive.
Oh, yeah. Growing up, like my mom always bought like the log.
Yeah.
And I think the log is it's got to be like $10 or $15 now.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And that's if you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
I can only find the short ones now.
Yeah.
Because usually it's expensive, so we don't buy it that often. It's like a special thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you know what? Everyone's here. I'll go get some Taylor ham from the Food Town. And they're like 6 inches long.
Food Town is the worst.
Food Town is the worst.
The prices at Food Town.
Yeah.
Terrible.
That's the worst place. And my wife always says, don't go there. But because I'll go there for 4 or 5 items.
Mm-hmm. Spend $100.
And it's like $50 or 60. Yeah, it's crazy.
You're almost just as close to Whole Foods, which is probably the same price.
Yeah. Whole Foods is pretty close by. And Whole Foods is like a great place to go people watching.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Nice thing about Whole Foods is they have a pretty good beer and wine.
They do.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I never heard of the pork roll until I moved here.
Do you prefer one over the other?
I only had it once, and I took a bite and I didn't finish it.
Okay.
It was something like it was like a native eating, spaghetti for the first time or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like just something weird about it.
Well, in New York, it's all bacon. Like where we would have a pork roll, egg and cheese. New York, it's a bacon, egg and cheese.
Yeah,
which I like, but it's not as good as a pork roll, egg and cheese.
I'm with you 100%.
I think it's an acquired taste.
It's definitely unique. I mean, like I've had, I tried Spam once just because I was curious. I'm like, I've seen this my whole life, never eaten it before. And I was an adult. It was probably just a couple years ago. And I thought it would be similar to pork roll, but it's really not that close.
I tried it. I don't like it.
Yeah. I didn't dislike it, but I wouldn't buy it again.
What about Scrapple?
I like Scrapple.
What is Scrapple? I mean, I've heard of it.
I can't explain it. You could explain it.
It's, an emulsified, it's like pork livers. I think there's some meat in there too and cornmeal. So it comes in like a block and usually you slice it and like you'll dredge it in flour and then fry it. It's good.
It is good.
You probably wouldn't like it.
No, I'm not a mystery meat kind of guy. Except I do like salami.
Yeah. I like salami. We used to have it when I was a kid, and my mom will still make it from time to time. I think that's the last time I had it down the shore. And I still eat it because for me, it's sort of, it's kind of like going back in time, and I remember it being good. But my daughter didn't really like it. She likes Taylor ham.
Yeah, like
the Scrapple thing. I think it's mostly a mental block for people. It's like pate. Like if you were to just eat it with zero preconceptions as to what it was, most people I think would like it. But they're like, oh, liver? I don't like liver. So you're automatically predisposed to not like it.
I've eaten liver on more than one occasion. My mom used to make it growing up, like every now and again, like, it was like a health meal.
Liver and onions.
Yeah. Like generally speaking, we had what you would call Italian food. That was like our regular food. But the first time I had fried chicken, I was instantly in love.
I got to try the fried chicken place that you guys were talking about recently.
Claudi's.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Really good.
So it is, the gas station on Cooper Road in 35?
Yeah.
It's in that.
Really?
Yeah, but they're moving to Sabato's in the Junction that just closed.
Okay.
The butcher shop.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. They make good chicken.
Oh, the butcher shop closed?
Yeah, about 3-4 months ago, maybe.
Across the street from Swagger?
With the big cow on the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're keeping the cow.
That's where I get my haircut.
Do you get your haircut there?
Yeah.
At Swagger?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to that place on 35.
I went there once or twice, but I'm like a guy at convenience. Like, I got to go like, I'm going to get my haircut today. I feel like getting my haircut today. They got an opening. I can go there. I can park in the front. Otherwise, I won't go.
Not like you're going to get some super special haircut.
I want everything to run smooth. Otherwise, I don't go. Yeah. That other place was like one too many little things for me to.
Yeah.
So I used to get my hair cut at Swagger, and my son Michael gets his hair cut at Swagger.
Does he see a regular guy?
He always goes to, I forget her name now. She's got blonde hair.
I see like the one old guy there.
I went there a couple times. And, I would do a walk-in, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's going to open. And I'm like the last chair, the old guy in the back. He just cut like some child. I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to get a terrible haircut.
Was it not the bald guy?
It's had to have been, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Ever since I met my wife, she's been cutting my hair.
Yeah.
That's a great thing because
I should say that it's been over 10 years.
Getting your haircut is.
Oops. I'm batting 1,000 on this episode. Good thing my wife doesn't listen.
I think getting your haircut's a huge time suck.
It is.
And it's not cheap. So I used to go to Swagger, but then it was never convenient because I would just be like, I just got to get my haircut today.
They're booked all the time.
I'd call them and they'd be booked.
Yeah.
So then I'd call Hair Cuttery, and you can always get in there.
Where's that?
Over by Lavodi's?
That's over by Whole Foods.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I would just go in there, and I don't care. My hair grows back fast. Just cut it short, and it'll be what it is. And I guess I went about a week and a half ago, and my hair was really getting pretty long. And I could tell, like, the girl did not really care.
Oh, God.
Like, she barely looked up from her phone. So when
she's cutting your hair.
No, like, when she's like, oh, are you John? And I was like, yep. She goes, oh, okay, I'm ready for you. But just the demeanor, I was like, okay, I'm not thinking I'm going to get much here.
Mm-hmm.
So she had this pair of clippers on the counter. And usually they cut it with a scissor. I said, why don't you just use those clippers? What's that, like 1 inch? And she goes, yeah, or it was 1.25 inches. I said, do the whole thing with that and then just clean up the back with maybe 3/4 inch. So here I am, like, micromanaging my haircut. So she does that. And while she's doing it, I get the name of the clippers that she's using. And so $35 later, whatever my haircut was with a tip, I said to myself, okay, I'm getting a pair of clippers and I'm cutting my own hair from now on. And I'm going to try to convince my wife to, like, maybe clean up the back a little bit. But I feel like I can get away with just, like, using the clippers 90% of the time. And again, it's not the 35 or whatever the haircut is. It's just finding that it's burning an hour.
Yeah.
And it's not burning an hour. It's like burning an hour and a half to 2 hours because you kind of have to get ready to go there, the drive there. You might have to wait.
Yeah.
So I think it's made by Wall or something.
Oh yeah, WAHL.
Yeah. So I'm gonna buy a good pair of clippers.
Oster, it makes a good one. OSTER.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck
they make
with
all
that.
kinds of appliances.
I can cut your hair. I'm good at cutting hair.
It's only $20 at Swagger.
I can see if my sister-in-law has any
He doesn't want
openings.
me to cut his hair.
It's $20. It takes 20 minutes.
$20, but then
I give the guy 10.
So $30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I show. He goes, "What do you want?" Because it's always so long in between the
Your hair
haircuts.
was long. The funny thing is we shot this video.
Yeah.
Rob's hair is like down to his shoulders in the first scene, and like
get a crew cut.
Yeah,
in
like
the
a crew
one.
cut in the second scene.
I take out my phone and go, "This is the last haircut you gave me." He goes, "Man."
That's
Takes
funny.
that to the thing. My wife goes always, "Don't cut it so short." I'm like, no, short.
Well, it's going to grow back.
It's
Especially in the summer.
And I love having the short hair. I love it. It's just, you get in the shower, the little dab of shampoo, rub, you're done.
So there it goes. Like if you have the clippers,
Yeah.
you'd probably just do it yourself every 3 weeks.
That's what I did for the first 20 some odd years of my life.
Oh, yeah? You self-clipper?
Yeah, I had just like a buzz cut, I would just put it on like a 1 and just buzz the whole thing.
Yeah. It's funny because we had, I had a crew cut growing up, like my first 10 years, 12 years of my life. It wasn't until I was old enough to like have my hair the way I wanted that I realized I had curly hair.
That's funny.
Yeah, because, back then it was like the parents decided, out of convenience how your hair...
You probably had straight hair as a kid, and then your hair got curly as you got older, because that happened to my son, Michael.
Oh, okay.
His hair, he was one of those straight-haired kids, just like really, just straight hair. And then all of a sudden, he's got this really wavy hair. Same thing with my brother, Will. I just got like a thick paintbrush on my... It's like if I don't kind of plaster my hair down with a little product of something, it just stands up like a Q-tip.
They call that pokey, I think.
Yeah,
Pokey?
that's what I got.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'll see if I can find them. Yeah, I had little. My mother she was a dressmaker, and so she used to cut my hair with those big old scissors. Just like one thing. She would take like 3 minutes to give me a haircut.
I still get a little nervous with my wife with like the scissors sometimes. I'm like, because, she's got all these crazy Japanese scissors. They're like $900 a pair.
Wild.
Yeah. And they're like razor sharp. And, they get close to your ears and everything. And she's like, oh, let me trim your nose hair. I'm like, you're not putting those scissors inside my nose. I'm like, one little snip and I've just got like a...
Jack Nicholson in the Chinatown.
That's such a great movie.
Septum.
Yeah.
You can't find that movie. I keep trying to find that movie on a streaming service because I want my kids to see it.
What is it?
Chinatown.
Yeah, that's a good film.
It's a really good movie. So it's Jack Nicholson and who else is in it?
And John Huston who plays the woman? It's not Angelica Houston, is it?
Faye Dunaway?
Faye Dunaway, yeah. There you go.
Roman Polanski. John Huston, Diane Ladd.
Did you see Quentin Tarantino's last film, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No, I did hear it was good though.
I gotta tell you, I really liked it. It's because you said Roman Polanski, and that was Sharon Tate's husband or boyfriend.
Yeah, he got what do you call when somebody's kicked out?
That was statutory. He got a statutory rape thing, I think, years ago.
Yeah, and then he didn't he leave the country or something like that?
I'm pretty sure he did. But
was
before
like exiled.
Exile. That's the word I was thinking of.
Before that, I think he was engaged or married to Sharon Tate, and she was killed.
Yeah, by Manson.
Yeah, by the Manson family.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what this whole Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is.
Oh, really?
And so it's all about this.
I had no idea.
So I think that movie came out during COVID, or maybe right before. But I took Walter and Michael to see it in the Atlantic Highlands Theater, and it was like just great. And like the ending is awesome.
I haven't been there.
Well, it wasn't.
Smog
it wasn't
Castle
redone yet,
right?
But it was just like a little. It's a little theater.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like Brad Pitt plays the role just so good.
Who is he?
He plays the stunt man. So I'm not going to give up I'm not going to give up the plot, but Quentin Tarantino like rewrites history.
Oh, okay.
It's just wild. And the other guy is the guy from
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
right?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
You guys ever been to like an old movie theater, like before they made these multiplexes?
When I saw Rocky in a theater.
Oh yeah. Have you, Jeff? Are you too young?
I don't know. I mean, I think the Atlantic Highlands, it's been updated, but that was like
probably like an old theater.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I can't recall.
I got one for you. You guys ever been to a drive-in?
No.
I've been to one, but Barely. Like it's so long ago, I can barely remember it.
Yeah, there was a drive-in in Arizona when I lived out there, went to school out there. That's a lot of fun.
They actually had one, and they still might have one in Bethel, Vermont. And my wife used to go there, and we kept saying, "Oh, we should go to the drive-in," but I'm not sure if it's still going. So I think Bethel is just a little bit south of Randolph.
Okay.
And they're connected by Route 12. And I think that the drive-through is like right off Route 12 there. It may still be there.
Yeah. We used to go all the time.
It's a summer thing. You can't go all the time. Well, in Arizona, you could probably go all year round.
Arizona is perfect for that because it's dry and there's no bugs. Well, at least there weren't back then. I don't know what it's like now.
Did they give you like a little speaker or the speakers were at the screen?
No.
Speaker hangs on your window.
Yeah, the old ones, the speaker was in the box and you hang it on your window. And then there were some where you could tune to an AM radio frequency. But, I used to have a Volkswagen bus. You back it in and like they have the humps there so you can like kind of point up at the thing. Flip open the back of the Volkswagen bus. Yeah, it was great. You got your girl in there.
That's great.
Now you just Netflix and chill.
That's right. I'm watching a crazy show now. I'm watching a show on HBO called Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, I've heard great things about that. Danny McBride.
Yeah.
He's a riot.
Funny. It's funny. It's just total madness.
Mm-hmm. What, they're like evangelists or something?
Yeah, they're like one of the, it's kind of like a Jim Baker kind of knockoff where, just a stadium theater almost, or stadium church. Yeah, stadium church. And of course, they're just like the most morally bankrupt people. It's funny.
Yeah.
So it's a true story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I remember the whole Jim Baker.
Tammy Faye.
Yeah, Tammy Faye. But what was the woman's name who she ended up modeling in Playboy? She was on Howard Stern all the time.
I don't know.
That's a
Jessica
good one.
Hahn.
That was Jessica Hahn?
Don't you remember Jessica Hahn?
Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought she was a politician.
No, Jessica Hahn was like a secretary or something working in the church.
So it was the Baker scandal.
And she had an affair with, I guess, I'm just going to say allegedly, with Jim Baker or whatever. I hope I got these names right.
Yeah,
that
Jim and Tammy
familiar.
Faye.
This is what, like the 90s, 80s?
Yeah, late 80s into the 90s.
Okay.
Let's do a fact check.
And so Jessica Hahn was on Howard Stern all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did a spread in Playboy. And then she had a bunch of work done on her and did another spread. And she was always on Howard. And then I think, just like all things, she just sort of faded away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jessica Hahn. How much money did Jim Baker... So here's the searches. How much money did Jim Baker pay Jessica Hahn?
It's funny, like at the time that was like major news. Not by today's
it's mild,
standard,
right?
it's like, okay, news cycle, that would be gone in like a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were talking about Elliot Spitzer.
Yeah.
How he was client 49 at the brothel.
Yeah.
And he was...
He's the governor.
Yeah.
And he was always... he was a real hard ass, really sticking the law to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about like a major hypocrite.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme, isn't it?
Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah, we I don't think we talked about it last episode. It was a couple episodes ago, but we listened to this multi-part podcast about like corruption in New York State, and it was like Spitzer and these like
Bruno
2 or 3 other guys, Joe Bruno and something Silver, all went down in 6 months on federal corruption charges, like
in separate events.
Yeah,
I want the name of the podcast because I like that stuff.
It's from Wondry. Wondry.
It's
I think
awesome.
it's called. Let me see. I have it right here. They have all these like 5 or 6 part podcasts on all these different things: Prohibition, the Civil Rights Movement, the Great Depression, the Cold War. It's really, really good.
It's well done.
You know what the thing is, like that kind of stuff. You can really go down a rabbit hole. It's like the best way to learn about history because you'll listen to something like that. Then you'll do a couple of searches and watch some YouTube videos and read some articles.
Like the Macaroni Wars.
It's called American Scandal.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
My daughter loves podcasts. Like whenever we go on drive somewhere, we'll listen to.
I'll text it to you.
We'll find. Thank you.
You know, on the topic of the Jim and Tammy Faye and Jessica Hahn, you ever read Elmer Gantry?
No.
That's a good book.
All right.
It was actually a pretty good film too. With who was it? Robin Mitchum, I think.
Okay, I like him.
Yeah, it's black and white. It's fairly old, but it's all about a preacher and the duality of his existence and his nature, and he's a womanizing drunkard 1 minute, and then he's a true believer the next.
Yeah, God, yeah, it's wild. This Righteous Gemstones is like right up that alley where somebody doing like the most ridiculous stuff and then convincing themselves that they are sort of above and able to guide other people when they're a total mess.
Oh yeah, beyond reproach, as they say.
Do as I say, not as I do.
I see that. I watch a lot of British television, and this one crime series is set in Oxford. And so there's all these Oxford University students, and they're all like the children of like the prime minister and all the judges and everything. And they're taught through their upbringing that they're untouchable, that they could do whatever they want. And it's literally, do you know who my dad is, policeman? We'll take away your career.
Well, that stuff probably goes on over there more than here.
Yeah, there is that class of people.
I mean, it does go on over here. I think the internet is sort of bringing more things to light, though. Maybe that'll happen less and less.
Here it's more about money, I guess, to sort of pave your own road.
It's funny in England how you can have these people. I was watching this thing about basically this con man who got in with this family, but there's like these royal sort of families who have like these titles as whatever it might be, duke or something, but they don't have any. There's no money associated with it. They're just
landed gentry is what they call them.
Yeah,
because the money ran out a long time ago.
Yeah, there was this guy Theory Stern or something was the guy's name, and he got in with this family and conned everybody, and then like turned them into a cult, and they were all doing all these nefarious things.
Yeah, because the family has have these estates where they literally own like a town.
Yeah.
And everybody who lives in the town is leasing the property. Like there are no real homeowners. If you have a store there or a house there, you pay rent to the lord of the manor. And that's really his only source of income. And so let's say like 500, 600 years ago, the king gave this land grant to your great ancestor, and and so it's just passed down to the eldest son till this current day. And for the most part, they wind up selling off chunks of the property because these places are enormous financial liabilities to keep up.
I saw something about that, and they're always trying to figure out a way to marry into some more money and keep the place.
So they're looking for, a rich American who wants a title.
Well, the interesting thing about Europe, and I don't know what I'm talking about other than watching a few shows, is
me either.
It's really difficult to do anything. Like if you have a piece of property, like just to get to do any kind of little project on it, you have to, there's so much more permitting that goes on over there than over here.
Oh, yeah.
And there is quite a bit over here as well, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
But I think I was watching, I forget. It's the guy who does like the cars. He's like a car show.
Is that the guy up in Connecticut?
No, this is a guy who's over in Europe now.
Oh, you're talking about like Top Gear? Like Jeremy Clarkson?
Jeremy Clarkson's Farm. Clarkson's Farm. I actually enjoyed that show.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
So he's like turning it into like a farm, but there's definitely a lot of hoops that you have to go through.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you kind of side with him until you think about it a little bit more and you think, well, maybe I do agree with the town folk who actually don't want all this
You don't want to change. Look at our town.
What in here?
In Middletown.
Middletown.
All the development and stuff.
Yeah, I'm my knee-jerk reaction without thinking is I'm against it all.
All the building.
Yeah, I want it to. I'm gangplank mentality the whole way. I'm here now. I don't. Want
That's so funny.
I don't want anything to change. I'm pulling up the gangplank.
Well, like with that development that we were talking about.
Yeah,
that's going to be a lot of stress on the schools, on the roads. But if you're the town.
Yeah.
I mean, we're paying a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
Middletown taxes are ridiculous. If you're the town and you have the decision to make it to open spaces, which would have been great, and they could have done that, but I'm sure they're thinking, okay, let's get 150 new dwellings here.
Tax income.
And I think that those things are at a minimum of $500,000 or $700,000 a piece. Think of all that tax income.
Yeah.
And so they're like, it's a no-brainer for them. Is it the best thing for Middletown? No.
Well, the thing that I don't, we'd like to have the mayor on, actually.
Yeah, he did say he would come on.
There's
of Middletown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's our award right there.
Oh, nice.
We're on a first name basis with Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
If there is anything set aside, it doesn't seem to be enough to offset the impact. Like, what about the roadways and, as you mentioned, the schools and everything that has to do with the infrastructure of our town and the quality of life by infusing, let's say there's 200 units. That's 400 cars easy.
Yeah. And 400 children.
Yeah. And all concentrated in just that one area where you have very limited amounts of, egress, we'll call it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that only dumps out to what? Kings Highway and 35. That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe, what's the road where Canes Lane maybe? Does it dump out there too?
It does dump out to Canes Lane.
But Canes Lane's not a road that can handle traffic. It's tiny little...
Yeah. That's just a little area for
recycling. And what? It's
a dead end there.
There's a landscaper back there too, right?
Yeah, that's
not Privatera.
It begins with a C.
Capelli.
Yeah, Capelli's.
And you've got that climbing gym there.
Yeah. I think that's where Hunter went to Ninjas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, I mean, that's another Toll Brothers project.
Yeah, they built some real hack.
Well, they got creamed in 2008. Toll Brothers did.
Oh, really?
I thought they did. A lot of people got creamed in 2008.
Is that Toll or is that KHOV?
No, that's Toll. I've seen the flags.
Oh, the one that they built, the other one that they built on Kings Highway, not like right on the road. I think that's KHOV.
Okay. Those are more like houses, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's like right past the Normandy Road.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think I'm thinking of not small houses. I'm thinking of a housing development, not an apartment.
Yeah. Look at the thing they put by Target off 35.
Oh yeah. Across the street, across 35. Yeah. That was just a big swath of
forest.
Yeah. And
there was a park.
I was hesitant to call it that because it feels weird having
woods.
Yeah. Woods. Yeah. It was a big swath of woods and they just leveled it and put up all these townhouses or condos, whatever the hell they are.
Well, that was a pretty big area at the end of Kings Highway where that development is now. And they definitely displaced a lot of animals there.
Yeah.
And so people wonder, why are there so many deer? Well, there's nowhere for them to go and they don't have any natural predators. I mean, there are coyotes. We do have coyotes.
How many gimp deer do you think lived in
Is that a breed of deer? I'm a city slicker, so there's the mule deer and
the whitetail.
But I'm not familiar with the gimp deer.
Yeah, there's a lot of deer, that's for sure.
I had one in my backyard like a month ago.
Do you usually not get deer?
There's no way. On the left side and the back, I have a 6-foot fence all the way around.
Yeah. Well, they can jump that.
Yeah, they jump clear over that.
So I got Food Town on the driveway on the left, Food Town behind me, and then I got the neighbor on the right.
Oh, they're traipsing through everybody's yards. They don't care.
I'm happy that we don't have a huge black bear population. Now, I didn't think we had any black bear until my neighbor sent me a picture, or maybe he posted it on an Instagram story of a black bear in his neighbor's yard. So that means
Recently.
like right down the last year around this time.
Yeah, I remember there were, it was in Atlantic Highlands and then moved. I mean, you're basically in Atlantic Highlands.
Yeah.
It was all throughout there. Yeah, I don't know
where they live.
I don't
Hartshorn
either.
Woods, maybe.
But Hartshorn's not huge, you
Yeah.
know? And like Huber Woods and Hartshorn Woods, they're not big places.
What could they eat?
They're vegetarians for the most part.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think that they eat some bugs and stuff, maybe. But yeah,
I mean, I think they will eat meat, and they'll still kill you. If,
Yeah.
you get there was a black bear killing maybe 3 years ago, some Rutgers students in North Jersey. North Jersey's full of black bear.
yeah. What do they say? Black bears you run and grizzlies you fight.
I think you have to have bear spray for anything. Like I just sent my sister a short video of a guy using a bear spray on a black bear. So the guy's walking backwards. He must be holding his phone or he's got a GoPro or something. And he just keeps going, "Whoa, bear." That's what they always seem to say. And he's walking back and the bear just kind of keeps following him. And then sometimes like jumps up a tree and then jumps down the tree, just kind of toying with this guy. And it's a 3-minute video. And at like minute 250 or 230, the bear gets within like 10 feet of him. And he gives us a blast of the bear spray and the bear takes off.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, holy cow, this guy's pretty mellow. So what I got from that is have bear spray and don't turn your back on the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what it is a grizzly bear, you're supposed to play dead. But a black bear, you're supposed to like get real big and try and scare it away.
Grizzly bears. I mean, just did you see that
Kiss your
documentary?
ass goodbye.
Oh, the
Grizzly. I think it's Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man. No, but I know of the guy. Yeah, got eaten by his buddies.
Yeah. That's a Bernard Herzog film. It's like maybe a 10 or 15-year-old film.
Yeah.
Before all this internet craze. So maybe it's 20 years old. But he was like living with the bear. And I guess one of the bear got hungry eventually, and just killed him. And I think his girlfriend.
Yeah, I never encountered a bear, but I've been in situations where I had to take a lot of precaution, like when I was working up in Wyoming, where you have to, you camp. It was almost a mile away from where you cook.
Wow.
And you can't keep anything in your tent.
No toothpaste.
No deodorant, anything with a scent, because they might think it's food.
Sure.
And of course, you got to take all your clothes off and put them up in the tree in a bag.
God. Sounds like work.
All the food has to be.
Oh
up in the
yeah,
tree.
the food stays over in the cooking area, in a box, in a bear box, completely away from where you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
And so you're in this little, one-man tent in the middle of the darkness in the mountains, and all night you hear snapping twigs.
This will stop
and
bear claws. This nylon.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just like some banana-sized grizzly bear claws.
They're huge.
Yeah.
The claws are just, and that just gets back to
Mr. New York.
Yeah. What are you going to do against a grizzly bear?
Got a $2 pistol in your waistband.
Well, that's the other thing. I think if you're going to shoot a grizzly bear, you have to have like a real gun too.
Yeah,
So, anything else is going to be like a BB gun with like a 22. What's that going to do?
No.
There's
Nothing.
stories of guys out west who have shot a grizzly bear, 2 magazines of 45, and it's they're just getting lodged in their fat,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the Sasquatch?
I don't think it exists.
Not according to our cement mason.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He says he's got him on his property down in where? Virginia?
Virginia.
Huh.
Yeah.
He has some other crazy stuff to say too, but
Yeah. We can be pretty sure he's not listening to the podcast.
definitely not.
But we had, the gas pipe had to be run to the building, the gas line. And so they dug up the sidewalk and temporarily covered it with blacktop. And then eventually they hired a sub to come out here and put a nice new piece of cement sidewalk. So Jeff says, fine it, if he wants to patch our apron out front. Now I thought he meant the big crack we had up front. Jeff was really talking about the other apron, but I led him over to this front. And he's like, yeah, we'll do that. I'll do that. And so he's here all day tending it. He did a nice job, actually.
Yeah. He's like, he works for New Jersey Natural Gas as a sub. So he goes and does all these little concrete jobs for.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we kind of befriended each other, and he's talking, and little by little, as the day wears on, he's revealing more and more about his personality.
That's awesome.
Not inadvertently, but inadvertently.
Sure. That's great. It's so funny. Like that goes to the thing. My saying to like my friends and family is like, be careful who you let into your life.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know where the story's going to go with this guy, but you can meet somebody at 8:00 in the morning and think one thing.
Yes.
And at 3, you could be like, okay,
exactly.
I'm never going to want to see this person again. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. He started out just this, nice older guy, and then he starts, he was saying some crazy stuff, like real crazy.
Isn't that wild? Like, it's hard to know how to react sometimes. You just listen and nod.
Smile and nod.
Yeah.
He's like, those tattoos. He's like, the Bible. I'm like, all right, let's just stop right there.
But the cherry on the sundae was he had a family of Sasquatch living on his property down in Virginia.
They were setting off his cameras. He's like, they never get in the camera, but they're right on the outside.
So, well, they're super smart.
Really?
Yeah. We're just like, I think it's time to go.
Yeah, not just once. And, he was like trying to lead us into it. He's like, oh, yeah, my cameras keep going off. But you wouldn't believe me what it was if I told. And so I wouldn't engage. I don't ask. I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear you say that. And it took, about 5 or 6 exchanges before he couldn't help himself and blurted out that it was Sasquatch.
Oh my gosh.
Not just one, but a whole family of Sasquatch.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can believe in Sasquatch. And I'm up for at least entertaining things.
Me too.
But I've seen enough, and there's been enough time where I just think, okay, like as far as aliens and maybe aliens living in the ocean, could be.
Yeah.
There's some unexplained things out there.
Yeah.
Some out of place artifacts.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see what would be under Antarctica after all the snow melted.
Is there I guess there's like rock ground. There's actual ground there, right? Yeah. Yeah, Hunter's convinced that Sasquatch is real, but he's only 5, so.
He's a smart kid.
Yeah. You ever watch Monster Quest on History Channel?
Oh, yeah, of course I watch it.
I think we used to watch that when the kids were little.
He loves that. He absolutely loves all that stuff.
That's fun. It's good to enjoy that time with them when they're little that.
I remember when I was a kid, when you're in school, they bring you down to the library. I wanted the books about UFOs and weird, whatever. Stuff like that.
I read Chariots of the Gods when I was in 3rd grade. And I was like, man, this is
Eric
the best.
Von Daniken.
Yeah.
You guys got me. I don't even know it.
He's the father of the ancient alien theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever see Ancient Aliens on History Channel? That's another one of those. Weird.
No, I don't have History Channel.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We might have had it years ago, but now we're just like smart TV and like Netflix and whatever.
It's like a total pseudoscience, They claim that, which, there are some legitimate takes on it. All these guys, obviously, it's just made for History Channel. But that, there were ancient civilizations that were highly advanced. They were brought all this technology from aliens. And, they say, oh, look, this is Machu Picchu. They have these stones. There's no way that humans could, and a lot of it is BS. They could very easily.
There's a couple of people that are more, what's the word when you're not as deep into it, where you're sort of,
just dabbling.
No, like they're not. They don't think everything is an alien.
They're more Objective?
Yes, there's some people that are more objective. And then there are some that no matter what, you have to ask yourself, it's got to be aliens.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, the answer is aliens.
I tell you, the pyramids is definitely a bit of a mind bender. Just the fact that the stone came from something like, I don't know, 500 miles away or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's that. And there's like the number of stones. Because I don't know enough about it, like you don't know if somebody's actually using correct math when they say something like, well, the number of stones and the number of people, you do the multiplication, it would take way too many years to build it. See, I don't know if that's correct or not.
Yeah, that's a problem with TV and the internet. It's like you could say anything.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many conflicting viewpoints that it's hard to get to the bottom of anything.
Right. And even, within, and these are just people who are like non-professionals. This is a TV guy, Giorgio Tsoukalos, talking about something that he's saying, a science, whatever, an archaeologist said. But then there's archaeologists who one guy says this, the other guy says this, and they're both the professionals. So it's like, which professional is right? And you could say that about anything.
That's how it is today, especially. Everybody's that's what's like amazing to me is the confidence that some people have talking about things that they obviously know nothing about sometimes.
Oh yeah. That's the internet.
It's like, holy cow.
Nobody gives the caveat that like, I'm not 100% on this, but this is the opinion that I've formed, I feel like that's something that we've always tried to do, when talking about like woodworking. It's like, listen, we'll change our opinion on a dime. Like we're talking about before with the Bessies and the Dubukes. It's like, this is what we know now. This is, we're totally open to changing our viewpoint. It's like, this is just where we're at right now.
I think it's so important to be able to change your mind, admit you're wrong when you're wrong, self-evaluate. I think those things are so important. On my drive here, I was talking to my cousin about that. And I said, that's it. Not getting into what we were talking about. I said, it's such an important trait to self-evaluate and admit that you're wrong. And once you can admit you're wrong, like this is the easiest thing, right? Because everybody gets in arguments, whether it's with your family, whether it's with whoever. The easiest thing to do is just say, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But nobody does that. But if you can do that,
pride.
You could just go forward. And that's the thing. Like, so do you know Finished Carpentry TV's YouTube channel, Richard?
Yeah, yep.
I really like Richard. Does very nice work, and he was talking about DeWalt. So he's pretty heavily invested in DeWalt tools.
Yep.
Plus, he's got that whole shirt Milwaukee. Like he kind of he made like a shirt, and anyway, so he's been using DeWalt tools forever. On his miter saw, he's got a cordless miter saw, and of course, you can also run it with the power, so you can bypass it, but the batteries still stay on, I guess. And he's had to replace the motor twice now, and the second time, each time being like $350, whatever.
Wow.
And maybe I'm wrong on the numbers. I think I'm close. After the second repair, the rep said, well, you really should just run it with the battery and not use the cord. It'll burn the motor out if you do that. And that's why it's happening.
Then why do you make it
this
way?
Like, okay. So then after he's using the saw, he realizes that he's got an aftermarket fence on it. He realizes that the aftermarket fence has been cut. He wouldn't know if he did it. So it must have happened there. And they wouldn't own it. They said, no, there's nothing our guys wouldn't even start your saw with the blade on it. Just kind of BS. We both know that if we were working on a machine, you'd be like, okay, let's start it up and see if it works. Of course. So my point, I never leave comments on things just because I often don't, unless I got something nice to say or something agreeable.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, it's just a sad state of where we are today. Nobody will admit their mistake and own up to it, and that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So. Except people like, and I'm not patting either of us on the back, but you and I, because we really don't have a choice. We're a small business. If we screw somebody over, they're going to be like,
got to make it right.
Yeah, you got to make it right. Otherwise, they're going to tell their friends, You're not dealing with that big of a pool of clients in the first place.
Yeah.
So even if you have to eat something, you have to eat it.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing today is in every level, people just do the most ridiculous, obviously bullshit stuff, and then just deny it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just that's where we're living today. It's like hard to believe. And it's funny because I'll say to my kids, I'm like, there's no good representation of how to be out there in the world today because everybody's full of shit.
Yeah.
And they just won't own their mistake. They just, so anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but that's,
I mean, not only is it the right thing to do, but in my experience, not that I'm an old dude. I'm 61.
I'm not too far behind you.
In my experience, it's good business because as you're describing, it's not that common a trait. So the next time that person that you've made the mistake right with needs work, they're going to come straight back to you.
Yeah, because honesty is like so hard to come by.
They trust you even more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sometimes you have to, admit you were wrong even when you weren't wrong.
Sometimes you do, and not just being the bigger man.
I found that's one thing I've learned in marriage. And you really,
the door has been opened.
Oh, no. At least, me, I fought it in the beginning.
Yes.
But it's like sometimes, you get in a little.
Principle's only worth so much.
Yeah, you get in a little spat and, and I was right, and it's like not like a question of opinion. It's like, no, I was right. But sometimes you got to say, I'm sorry, you were right. It's just,
oh, God. I'll agree with you 100%. Sometimes you have to admit you were wrong, even when you weren't wrong. More in marriage than anywhere else.
Yes.
It's a grind.
You said that, not me.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It's the best. This is a recent phenomenon I've noticed with my wife is that like stuff that we've disagreed about, but she's come over to my side. In the retelling of these stories, it's been her idea like she had the original idea.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
And a couple of years ago, I made the mistake of trying to say, no, that was me. And it got so out of hand so fast that I didn't even, now every time I just back out of the conversation.
Hey, that's a smart move. That's so funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I think after she did it one time successfully,
she just kept doing it.
She's just like, hey, I could adopt this.
Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely a fine line there.
Oh man, that's too much. Yeah, being married, I got married pretty late.
How many years you been married?
I've been married now 23 years.
Goes by quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But it's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
That's almost a life sentence. That's 25 years. Right?
You mean I'm getting out in 2?
No, you'll be eligible for parole.
Yeah, I'll be married 26 years, I think, or I am. No, yeah. I might be married close to 30 years, I think.
What year did you get married?
I think I got 94.
Married. I think I got married in 99.
I think I was 94, so I guess next year is my 30th.
Wow.
Guess we'll have to set up a fishing trip.
I was going to say, put the reminder in your phone now.
That's right.
Oh, man. I can't remember if it was 99 going to 2000 or if it was 2000 that I got married. Because I got married at the end of the year.
I've been married 7 years this year.
7?
Yeah.
That's pretty new. So, and Hunter is 5?
Yep. Yeah, 2016 we got married.
I think we were married for about 2 years, year and a half before Laurel got pregnant with Jack. Because Jack's going to be 26 in September. That's usually what I use as my gauge.
There you go. Got to have markers.
You do.
The longer you go, though, the blurrier it gets.
Yeah. I wanted to wait until we bought a house to have a kid, but I'm glad that we didn't do it that way. because he would be 2 now. And dealing with a 2-year, I mean, it's bad enough dealing with a 5-year-old sometimes, but a 2-year-old, man, that'd be rough right now.
2-year-olds, it's so funny because the 3 boys are all within, I think, a year and a half or 2 of each other. And just like any boys, they would play hard together and fight hard together.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just laughing about it last night because they were all over at the house. And, sometimes they just go at it. And just the veracity of like a 7 and a 10-year-old, like just screaming at each other. I was just being like, I did the same stuff with my kids. I grew up with 8 kids in the house.
Wow.
And so only 2 brothers and 1 sister, but then my cousins lived with us as well. And my Aunt Kathy. But I don't think I think because the 3 brothers were so close in age and playing with the same things, sometimes they'd play great, but then all of a sudden something happened and they're like chasing each other around. And I was just like, holy cow, yeah, there were times.
That reminds me of Keith telling, I won't go into the specifics, but Keith telling us the stories on the fishing trip about him and his brothers, the stuff that they would do to each other.
You got to hear this stuff. I mean, vicious.
Oh, yeah. Putting each other in the hospital.
Yeah, no, they didn't do anything like that. That's craziness.
And the stories just kept getting better and better.
Like you'd think that would be the topper, and then he comes out with another one and another one, and he's deadpan too.
Oh yeah,
he was great. You got to come on the fishing trip with us.
Yeah, I love to fish. How'd you guys do this year?
Oh, better than the year before.
Yeah,
I feel like you're going early in the season.
Well, no, we were in like prime time for drop back steelhead.
Okay.
And smallmouth. So that's one of the few places where the smallmouth migrate from a lake into a river.
Okay.
It's like, it's world-class fishing. We're just not very good,
Really?
I think that's part of it.
I thought it has nothing to do with timing.
No, I mean, it depends. I mean, fishing is fishing. So some days you go and the fishing is no good, but the fishing was pretty good when we were there. I mean, I hooked one and lost it. Wild Willie landed one and hooked up on a few.
I mean, there was one guy that caught like 10 fish that day, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were plenty of guys catching lots of fish.
Around you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have the most experience up there, and I have barely any,
How far up north is it? What's your drive?
As far as you can go in America.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Canada. About 4.5, 5 hours.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's not. Yeah, because
45 minutes north of Syracuse.
Okay.
Like you drive right through the middle of Syracuse and just keep going north.
I do like fishing. It's like I know that I've said to both of you before that at some point I want to retire and just fish and mountain bike and woodwork.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But and somehow make that like my life. Maybe even create a destination that's like an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I could really get excited about that. I
Would
don't know.
people come to woodwork at this place, or they would?
No, I don't think so. I think I would just fill it with stuff that I've made or bought that other people made. So it would be a bit of an experience that you're staying at something that's kind of special.
Handmade.
And I'd have the ability to advertise it on the channel and Facebook and all that and kind of tap into the mountain biking group, which is somewhat similar thinking to woodworking and fishing. I notice a lot of people are sort of, and then especially the older guys with the pedal assist mountain bikes now. So
I used to be a big mountain biker out west.
I got to get you on a pedal assist mountain bike because you haven't ridden in a while, so the hills aren't going to be fun.
No.
But on a pedal assist, and it's not a free ride. You're getting a little bit of workout. So the thing is, you can decide how, like, if you're just kind of having an off day, instead of using just the ease or the most, whatever, level 1, you could pump it up to level 4 and kind of let the bike, you're still going to be winded at the top of the hill, but not as winded.
Yeah.
Does the bike have gears too, or is it just?
Yeah, it's got 12 gears. So I think they're designing other bikes now that are going to be automatic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that doesn't really appeal to me. You have to shift. So if you're going to approach a hill, you need to be in the same kind of gearing that you would be if you were in another bike.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a buffer, but so the beautiful thing about like a pedalist is if you don't make it up the hill, you probably have a hard time restarting on a regular bicycle. But with a pedal assist, you get enough assist that you can start like midway up a hill. Plus, I don't know if this is with all bike motors, but the motor on my bike is a Bosch, and it has something like it's like an auxiliary boost or something like that, or an after boost. So if you stop pedaling, it's still going to rotate the wheel like maybe one turn.
Okay.
So that gives you a little bit more help over an obstacle. So extended boost, that's what they call it. For me, it's a game changer. So it's funny because I always look at everything as when I'm spending money, is this something I can pay for with my business?
Mm-hmm.
So someone's in the shop.
Yeah, Lou's bringing his stuff in. It's about to rain.
Oh, okay.
It was like a sun shower just now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So with this bike, most of the expense of the bike has been paid for with sponsors. And I had that one viral video blow up, and that paid for like half the bike.
Yeah, what'd you say? 200 million?
122 million so far.
That's
now
crazy.
It's averaging like 400,000 views every 48 hours.
Wow.
But there was
That's
a time where it was
immense.
averaging like, I don't know, like 500,000 views an hour.
Wow.
Something crazy like that.
Did you say that the laser video has 400 something thousand?
I think that's got 400,000
Wow.
views. Yeah. So that's doing pretty well. So
That's
the difference
great.
is shorts. So like, I don't know how many subscribers the laser video has made, but let's just say like my last project video, let's say it got 30,000 views. Maybe I got 20 or 30 new subscribers, maybe 100. I don't, but I can find out by going to the analytics. With this short, I got 134,000 new subscribers in like 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And it paid a couple of bucks. It paid like for a good portion of that bike. So I wasn't expecting that, but because I had the bike, I was able to make that content. And I like making content around things that I'm going to use. So it's not only like a place to store the bike, but it's an electric bike. So you need like a charging station. So it needs to be.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
Yeah. So now I like park the bike, plug it in, and there it sits. So my wife knows that I always sort of figure out ways for whatever I want to do to sort of pay for themselves. So I just said to her the other day, I said, I think I might buy another bike just so I can take other people on rides, including my 14-year-old daughter. So my bike is a large, which you could easily ride. I ride it. Might be a little tall for you. Might be a little uncomfortable. I could get a medium, which I could still ride. So could you, and it'd be perfect for you. So I could take somebody on a ride, and then maybe I could talk to a bicycle company and say, hey, do you want to give me a deal on this bike? And I'll be a brand ambassador for you or something like that. But I want to get a decent bike. I don't want to buy like, the bike I have now is a good bike.
You don't want the Alibaba special.
No, I'd probably try to find something with a local dealer around here. Like I used to do some stuff with Cannondale, but that door may have closed, although I'm still friends with one of the guys there on Instagram who's a woodworker. Maybe I can open that up again and get a deal on that bike because there's 2 Cannondale dealers within, 20 minutes of where we live.
So Cannondale is making electric.
Oh, everybody
pedal assist.
does.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when I kind of got into this, I started to notice them, and a friend on Instagram reached out to me and said, hey, I'd love to do something with you one day. If I see you riding a Cannondale, because my regular bike's in a Cannondale. And so when COVID happened, we had planned this before COVID, but all of a sudden COVID happened. And they sent me, I think it's a Matero. It's one of their electric pedal assist mountain bikes. And I had it for, I think, 2 months in the summer of COVID. The downside was I think I got the bike and the parks shut down like a week later.
Oh, I didn't
remember
know
they shut the parks down. They shut the beaches down.
I've blocked most of that period of time out of my memory.
I didn't know that either.
They shut down. You couldn't go in any of the parks.
We didn't. We lived in our own little.
We were
world.
still working.
I mean, I was still working too because making content was great. A lot of people were just watching content,
Mm-hmm.
but it was crazy. Like, because what happened with COVID is when it started, all of a sudden everybody was walking in the woods.
Yeah.
So all the parking lots would be jam packed, and everybody was going to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for whatever reason, they said, "Oh, people are too close to each other. Let's shut everything down and keep everybody in their homes." So, I think
Instead
that was
of just
only,
like limit, maybe put a capacity or something. Only half as many.
Don't
people
you remember?
can go.
Like,
That's smart.
Yeah.
do you remember
This just
that?
sounds like a pain in the ass.
Well, so this is the irony of it. My wife would still go walking in the woods, and then she would get kicked out by the park ranger who was walking in the woods with her daughter and her dog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez.
So the park ranger would be like, "You can't be in here." Meanwhile, she's there with.
Yeah.
But do you remember the guy getting like all these boats, all these police boats in California, arresting the paddle surfer? He's like the only guy in the ocean. There's footage of it. He's like paddle surf, he's just like paddling a board out in the ocean, and he gets arrested.
Oh, because there was like a stay-at-home order or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen, and I could really go off on a tangent. My kids know this. I think what's going to happen is a lot of shit's going to come out, and people are going to be pissed because
We're already pissed. What do you mean going to be pissed?
But I think a lot more is going to come out. I mean, just the whole like overreach,
Mm-hmm.
I think was insane.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, it probably seems worse. I'm not saying it wasn't bad, but it probably seems worse than it was. Like, it's like a once in a century event. Not all the right, decisions could be made 100% of the time. Like, there was definitely overreach, but I feel like maybe a lot of it was probably done with the right intention. But it just, hey, we all screw up.
Yeah.
I would say there's some of that. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, right? And say that now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, common sense and logic to anybody close to it, who actually was like there and like making these rules, kind of knew what was going on and what happened. And the fact that they were shutting anybody down with a dissenting opinion or idea is kind of un-American.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't go with their thought process, if you didn't step in line, I mean, it's like we were just talking about 1984.
Oh, yeah.
It was total doublespeak.
Yeah. I think there's certainly, look at how incompetent people are. I mean, you can't even trust somebody to come over and like fix your sink or something like that. This is the same level of people running all these organizations.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
We can't even get the Amazon delivery driver to, deliver the packages properly. It's like about the most simple task that.
And so now you put that level of, human
incompetence
in charge of something really important. There's going to be that.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the greed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are going to say, well, how can we monetize this?
Yeah.
As best as possible.
It's like a perfect storm of ignorance, incompetence,
And power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, see, I'm going off.
Yeah.
But
It's a banner episode. We're hitting every
yeah. Like I said, it's your last episode.
I did see come up on my Instagram feed or whatever, as I'm scrolling through, Joe Rogan talking about the Kennedy book.
So now we're really going to get into it. So I just read the Real Anthony Fauci, written by RFK Jr., and it's an eye opener.
That's what he said. He said, if everything was true, why isn't he getting sued?
Yeah. Like he would.
I don't like that argument, though.
It's Yeah, I mean, it's like, what about the lady with the kitchen who never got delivered? You know what I mean? And sometimes chasing that lawsuit isn't the best avenue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm open. I mean, I believe in aliens, so I can think anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I think that we're going to see a lot more of RFK. Like we talked earlier off Mike, that the incumbent doesn't need to debate anyone.
That's a weird rule.
It is a weird rule, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a groundswell of energy under RFK, because it's pretty refreshing to hear somebody.
People are fed up.
People are fed up, and it's pretty refreshing to hear somebody actually say that big pharma is basically in bed with the media and controlling the narrative under most situations. And so he's a environmental lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying it's analogous to the fact that a lot of the biggest polluters would have people working in the government. So the people in the government also work for the biggest companies that were doing the most pollution.
Yeah, there should be something to stop people from, Congress going sit on the board of directors of. I mean, that's part of the problem, don't you think?
I do, and I think that
forget about separation of church and state. Separate business and state.
Yeah, or members of the government can't trade public. Can't be.
Yeah, well, that's like
investments in publicly traded.
Nancy Pelosi's made more money in the stock market.
Yeah,
I mean,
all of them.
Yeah,
you look at the Supreme Court justices. They're not allowed to own stocks, but they're allowed to own index funds.
I didn't know that.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the other thing, is just taking money out of politics.
Yeah, that's the
main thing, because every decision is getting decided with who's got the most money.
Yeah.
Right. The primary is like this war of attrition where whoever has the most money at the end. That's why it runs for a year and a half. Like if you don't have enough money to put up a 18-month campaign, you can't even entertain running.
I do think, though, that the internet will change that. Or does so? Somebody like RFK might not be a good example because he's got such a famous name.
Yeah,
but I don't think he would even have any kind of momentum he wouldn't have any kind of momentum if it weren't for the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you've got people like a lot of podcasters and a lot of people are paying attention.
That's how I saw it, Joe Rogan.
Exactly. So, and he's been on a bunch. Like he was on Theo Von's podcast. He was on Bill Maher's podcast recently. So he's taken that whole route. In the old day, going back 15 years ago or whatever, mainstream media basically controlled the narrative.
Yeah.
You couldn't get around it. So, and he basically burned his bridges with mainstream media in 2004 when he wrote an article about the potential for connection between autism and vaccines, the mercury in vaccines. And he wrote this article he wrote an article for Rolling Stone, and then Rolling Stone edited it and published it. And I think within a couple of weeks, it got taken down because it just pissed off too many people.
Ruffled too many feathers.
And again, it's not about hey, this is what's happening. It's about saying, hey, this thing is happening. Let's look into it. So it's not a black and white thing. But what I think's happened with the everyone trying to control the narrative is discussion is closed. It's it's like, wow, we're really getting into it here. So then, if you were to say, hey, in 2001, hey, there's a lab over in Wuhan, China, doing all these tests. Maybe there was a leak in that lab. shut that person down. You can't talk about that. But now we know that there's a pretty good chance that that's what happened. So anybody who's kind of inquisitive would say, well, maybe they knew it right from the beginning that that's where this came from. But that doesn't look good for us because we funded some of this with taxpayer money.
It was all
so let's shut this conversation down so we don't look bad. So like you couldn't have that 15 years ago. And they tried to keep it from happening now because Facebook and Twitter and everybody was shutting down anybody with a dissenting opinion.
Yeah, it's like Watergate. The cover-up's worse than the crime.
Well, that's it.
That's the story as old as the hills, unfortunately.
It's another one of those things, though, where, you know, who do you believe, you know?
I believe in having a conversation.
That's healthy.
And getting to the bottom of it and not just shutting the person down. You have to be open to it. So what I believe in is logic, common sense, and accountability. And that's what we're not seeing.
No. Yeah. I mean, in general, when was the last time you had a group of people together and they were like different opinions and people could have like a legitimate dialogue and like everybody involved said, you know, not literally, but said, let's talk about this. Convince me you're right and I'm wrong and vice versa. You know, let's exchange ideas in a healthy way. I don't think people are ready to do that or capable.
I think it's really important to get to that point.
Yeah.
And obviously it is. And that's why you can't just say like, I like this person and whatever you say, whatever his faults are, I still like him.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's part of the problem is I agree with you. I think that, you know, no conversation should be shut down just on principle of that it differs from another one. But I think a big part of the issue is, you know, a lot of the reason things get stifled these days is because people are presented with facts a lot of times and facts that are like indisputable facts, but they still believe the falsehoods that they've subscribed to.
Yeah. Is there a word for that now?
I don't know.
But yes, I read something about that where it's like
false narrative.
No, there's it's like a real thing.
Like I'll use like a flat earther as an example. Like somebody who says, no, the earth is flat. It's a lie that it's a globe. NASA's behind it, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this isn't a good one.
Yeah, that person just fucked up.
And they could say, no, look, here's the science that proves, you know, we could, you know, measure all these things. This is real science. And they just say, no, the earth's flat. That guy should be shut down.
Yeah, you can't reason with someone like that.
Yeah. And, you know, like we were saying before, people are naturally stupid. So there's a whole slew of people who are just going to believe they're taking this guy's
episode.
Yeah, they're taking this flat earth guy's opinion as gospel. They're saying, man, he's charismatic. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He said the earth is flat. NASA's trying to cover it up on us. And they just believe this guy.
Yeah.
So it's the disinformation and misinformation. And I'm not making any allusions to what side is what, but because it's rampant in all the entire spectrum of whatever political, parties. I just lost my train of thought.
No, but I know what you're saying. It's like there's enough people out there who are just looking for someone to follow that they'll just get on the train whether or not that person is making any sense or not. And I mean, you can see it in with the David Koresh followers. It always has happened. Before that, who was the guy?
Jim
Jones.
Yeah.
So you had all this, but now with the internet, you have the potential for a much, much bigger audience.
Yeah. Now it's monetized. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You have obviously YouTube. You got all the crazy conspiracy theorists on there who are making ad revenue. Then there's websites like Gaia, which that's like a big thing for these flat earthers and these like.
That's just crazy to me. Like that just goes against logic and common sense. It's like
this new age mysticism and stuff like that. These people and Patreon, these people are making serious money. The secret space program that we talked about, these people who claim that they, were abducted by the government and they were taken to Mars and they're fighting wars against vampires and zombies. These people are making money peddling these stories to people. They have Patreons making thousands of dollars a month. People just say anything they want, and people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a whole nother world out there. It's so funny because I'm like, that's so foreign to me. Like the whole idea of like, I don't know, following one of those.
Yeah, there was
but it sounds fascinating. I mean, like fighting vampires in Mars. It's like a whole book right there.
What was the one out in California where they were waiting for the end of the world and they were all found dead, like with their sneakers?
That wasn't too long ago, right?
Zoltar.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
But they all committed mass suicide, to get beamed up.
I think they left 2 people back.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you're talking about. And they have a website and it's like still active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like within the last 3 years?
No.
I think it was like in the maybe late 90s, early 2000s.
Huh. But that's pretty recent for something like that.
Yeah, they thought, the UFOs were going to come, take them away.
Wow.
Yeah, it's easier. People are easily led. Historically, revolutions are created by a surprisingly small group of people, whether it's like the French Revolution or the Russian Revolution, like big revolutions you think about. It's a small brain trust of people, and the masses just get swept into it.
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty wild to think about, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, we're definitely living through interesting times. I would love to read about this, see how history remembers this time period, this past, let's say starting in 2000.
Well, look at the changes in 2000. I mean, it's just so astronomical. Like the internet just changed everything.
Yeah, there was the internet. There was, World Trade
9/11
bombing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that too.
How that changed.
But see, I think that worked right into Osama bin Laden's hands, because I think if Osama bin Laden could have like a master plan and he was like looking at it now, he'd be like, yep, worked exactly as I wanted, because there's so many bad decisions made because of reacting too quick, right?
Well,
not thinking about a move. And I don't want to. I just remember thinking like, geez, I'm gonna like come on one side of the fence or the other. But I just remember thinking, what's the rush? Let's think about this before we go into Iraq, right?
I think it was all about getting oil.
No, but the idea was the reason that was explained was weapons of mass destruction. Right. But here I am. I was a pretty young dude at the time. I was maybe in the 30s. Yeah, they never found, right? But I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is a chess game. This is like a chess game on the ultimate, scale. Okay. Yeah, the buildings came down. This is what happened. Within a year, we're going into Iraq. So I'm thinking to myself, why are we rushing this? Aren't we going to separate aren't we going to lose our strength by separating our forces? You know what I mean? And just the whole thing that happened by going into Iraq after we left Iraq and left all the Kurds to get slaughtered.
Oh yeah,
I just looked at it. I was like, man, why are we doing this quickly? Why don't you just give it 3 months and take a deeper look for these weapons of mass destruction? Because it definitely didn't play out well.
No,
know.
I don't know what the final count is, but the billions and trillions of dollars spent.
Billions and trillions of dollars, more than 3,500 soldiers, I think, were killed. And then you kind of lose your mission in Afghanistan and you don't keep your focus there. And then why would anybody trust the United States after we left Afghanistan the way we did for all those women and children and a society that was sort of holding on to get basically massacred and raped. And I mean, it's the decision making that had happened seemed, well, do you remember the 2 or 3 week countdown before we pulled out of Afghanistan? Again, I'm not a military guy, but I'm like, this sounds like a shit show. Why would you do it this way? So there's a total layman reason. And meanwhile, that's what happened. It's a total shit show. People falling from planes. You leave all this stuff over there. People are getting killed left and right. We put ourselves in a super vulnerable position.
Yeah.
And now anybody around the world says, fuck the U.S. They're not in it for the long haul. They're just, they're just going to get out.
Short termers. I mean, I
think that's a pretty commonly held opinion regardless.
But I think that's in the last 50 or 60 years.
Yeah.
So I think it started with
pulled out of Vietnam.
That's what I mean. I think it started with Vietnam.
I had a friend who was actually involved in that.
But that's where I think it started. So I'm not really that familiar with the Korean War, but obviously World War II, you had to go into it. And if we didn't, the world would be a much different place today. But then, you get into Vietnam, and so according to RFK Jr., John Kennedy was trying to get out of Vietnam.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He was trying to get out, and I think there was 1,500 Green Beret or something, or peacekeepers or something in Vietnam, and he asked for a report of how many people had been killed, and I think 78 people had been killed. And he said, that's enough. Let's take all our people out. We're not going to be here. And then he was killed himself 2 months later. So that's why there's all that. That's why there's all this discussions on whether or not that was an inside job. And I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole too, if you like. Do you think that he was killed by the CIA?
I don't know if it was the CIA or I don't think it was
the one bullet.
I don't think it was as described, from the book room. I went to the book room, the book depository. Yeah.
It's an incredible shot, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's really what happened.
They call it the magic bullet, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, there's so many entry and exit wounds. And when you look at I guess the Sabruder film didn't get shown immediately. And I think when the Sabruder film came out, then they started to have to get creative with where these bullets came from.
Yeah, and if you look at a larger view, you think it's a coincidence that his brother's killed.
Yeah,
Sirhan.
Well, so
and Martin Luther King is killed.
They said Sirhan was under MK Ultra.
Yeah,
under mind control.
Okay, so I've heard Sirhan didn't kill Robert Kennedy, and that he was actually killed with a different gun, and he was shot from the back, not from the front, from Sirhan. So, I mean, there's all these things you can go into.
Martin Luther King was definitely killed by the CIA.
So there you go.
Yeah, so I don't think...
You're pretty emphatic about that.
Yeah, I read and watched a couple things that it's like, the patsy that they had that, was the guy that took the fall was totally incapable of pulling something off like that.
Well, I mean, it goes down the line with what happened with John Kennedy who's the guy who assassinated John Kennedy, who from the book depository?
What's his
Lee
face?
Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
So he's conveniently killed a day later.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Ruby.
Yeah, Jack Ruby dies conveniently within a certain amount of time. So I mean,
it's happening. All this stuff like Epstein.
Oh my God!
Did Epstein kill himself? I mean,
there's no way. Yeah,
I mean, I don't mean to laugh at the death of somebody, but he was
a pretty
shitty guy.
Right, and the connections, the people that he catered to. I mean, the way I would see that story playing out is that he's on the phone. He's like, come and get me out of here, or I'm going to start naming names.
Yeah.
The phone. Next phone call was, he's going to start naming names. I think you better quiet him down over there.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I mean, everybody's on that list.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I think Bill Gates, like when he heard the news, he was like, "Oh, okay," you know what I mean? Because he's on that list.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
a pretty disturbing fact that all these people, are not even one step removed. They're
directly
related
on
to
both
this.
sides of the aisle.
Yeah, like and business and government. It's like
He was another scammer. He
scammed his whole way up to his fortune.
Yeah. He took over for the guy that owned Victoria's Secret. He basically got signed on as like his power of attorney, and that's how he got to where he was. Is he was handling and selling things off and all this. I forget the guy's name. He owned Victoria's Secret.
Isn't it funny? Like that's definitely a psychopath. Somebody who sociopath. Yeah, who's somebody who believes their own lies and just continually spins them into a whole actual reality.
Yes.
It's wild.
And it's not Ghislaine. How do you say it?
Oh, the sidekick.
His wife. Yeah, or whatever, girlfriend. She, what?
I thought you said Ghislaine.
Well, it's spelled
sounds pretty rough.
It's spelled Ghislaine. It's not Ghislaine, but it's I forget how you pronounce it, but it's something like that.
It's not two separate words. The last episode.
She was like born into money and then like lost it all somehow. Like her father had a bunch of money and then I don't know, he went to prison.
Ghislaine
Maxwell. Yeah. Why has it got an S in it?
I don't know. Now I remembered it.
Yeah. Ghislaine.
The last.
Ghislaine.
I thought that was one of the compounds.
She was looking for a way to scam her way back to the top. You know what I mean? So she was another hanger on. And I mean, these people are despicable.
And just brutal people. Like,
yeah, I mean, human trafficking.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that, especially with children. And I mean, it is like the lowest rung in hell.
You're not kidding.
Anyway, we better pivot before.
Yeah.
This is like,
how's that woodworking project coming?
Like if we watch something, on TV, just like that's disturbing, and my wife goes, "Oh, we got to watch like a cooking show or something."
I hear you.
Before I go to bed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because you will relive that. I mean,
we
watched some show that was like just going through my mind. Something. Was that axe murdering show that was on Netflix recently? It's like a 1980s. It was kind of cool because the music was good. It was like, brings you back down.
Oh, like a campy
True Love,
kind
I
of
think
horror.
it was called True Love or something like that.
Yeah. So how are we going to end this episode? We're going to.
You want to say anything about woodworking? Any next projects?
We're going. Let's talk briefly about some of the positivity in this world.
Yeah. I mean, Lou's been out there the last 2 days. He's getting rained on sporadically, but still working on painting the shop. I don't know if he probably went home, but it was just started rain.
Is that
Shore Pro Painting? Reach out to him if you need any painting done. And I mean, one of the best painters I know. So
yeah, and he's been out there scraping the building by hand for like 3.5 days.
Yeah,
it's gonna look great. Do you know what color you're gonna go for?
Yeah.
Soft fern.
Yeah, that's what it's called, soft fern.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's something bucolic.
Soft fern. I'm going to imagine that's that's exactly what I'm imagining. It's kind of like a creamy bayberry.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, something in the green palette.
Yeah,
we couldn't go too dark. The landlord just said nothing too dark.
Smart.
Yeah. And we'll probably do we're doing a similar color and the grayish.
Sea haze, it's called. Yeah, it's like a...
For the trim?
Yeah, the brick stacks.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice.
Yeah.
The shop needs it.
Yeah, Lou's been working really hard.
Yeah.
That's going to look nice. Yeah, a dark color would stand out. It just stand out too much.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to do like a dark green, maybe like the van colors with the dark gray as kind of be a little imposing, but
Do you do any kind of lettering on the building with your logo or anything?
And we'd like to do a sign, you know.
Yeah, it'd be nice. We're gonna do we're gonna hire muralists.
Yeah, we'll rent out. You can get a 4x4.
Because you know how easy it is to find good quality help.
Why wouldn't you just make a sign and hang it on there?
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to have like a big, like an 8-foot diameter of the round logo.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have Walter make sure Timber gets it done for us for free.
There you go.
Big at a HDU and paint it. Put it up there on the tower.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and put some lighting underneath.
Yeah.
Or behind.
Yeah, we could have it coming off the roof down. That'd be cool. Like a nice 3D carved.
It's amazing what you can do with these solar lights these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking if you light it, you could just get 2 little solar lights. And I just put 2 of those out and I was like, wow, these things work really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's like $25 or something.
The LEDs now, you know.
They're amazing,
You just
aren't
need
they?
a tiny little battery.
Yeah, they work good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple of bionic solar lights.
Oh, God. Right off of the infomercial.
Yeah, my wife picked them up.
Do they come with those sunglasses that when you put them on, you see a screaming eagle?
No, they ought to though.
The Bell and Howell tactical flashlight.
Yes, the tactical can opener.
Oh my God! So yeah, Lou's working on painting the shop. We're working on banquette built in. Waiting on some finished samples of the finish.
Yeah,
because we're matching to some existing stuff, so that'll be fun.
Tomorrow we're taking a drive up north.
Oh yeah, we got to pack the van.
Where are you going?
Jersey City.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too far.
No.
We're going to deliver that 47-foot banquette that's been in the shop for about 4 months.
for 2 seasons.
I keep waiting. When's this going to leave? So that's going today?
Tomorrow we're going
Yeah.
to pack it up.
Nice.
Yeah, going out to our buddy Jim.
Oh, so it's going to get upholstered.
Yep. Yeah. Originally, it was going to be upholstered on site. Now he's upholstering it in his shop, and his shop is probably like about
this big,
12 feet wide, and it's got to be 50 feet long. But
You don't have space for it.
it's going to be tough.
it's tight in there.
Yeah.
I mean, when we unload it,
Usually
we're going
we
to
leave it
wind up
outside.
putting it outside in front of the shop
Wow.
on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think you got good weather tomorrow.
Yeah, and the next day, so they can figure out how to
Thursday
get it in.
and Friday.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he's fully aware of how many pieces this is.
Well, originally, he was saying that they're going in a restaurant, that the people who own the restaurant or whatever, the builder, whatever, they wanted it in 3 sections. I'm like, what's the point of making it? We're going to make it in 6 sections so that they're less than 8 feet. You know what I mean? I'm like, You want to screw them together on site to make them 3? Have at it. It's a good thing that we kept it in 6 because then we'd be bringing these 14, no more.
Yeah, they'd be like, how long would they be? There's 47. It's 47 feet divided by 3. They'd be 15 feet each.
Yeah.
Plus 15 at 1 and 2 at 16.
Yeah.
So he's going to upholster them, and do they go from his shop right to the job?
Yeah. Which is right down the street, I think.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll have channeled backs. It'll look just like the one we built, like a 16-footer a couple months ago.
And we got to get those sawhorses in there somehow.
Yeah.
We made them some sawhorses.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't forget the legs either.
Yeah. He sent us a picture of some old ones that, so
That his grandfather made.
we made 2 for him.
Exact, like replicas?
Sort of,
Yeah.
but a little beefier.
Yeah.
Some little added features that he got to ask for.
Well, we sort of offered them.
Yeah. You know the way we are. And we're figuring if you're listening, Jim, we'll call in that favor one day.
Yeah.
He does nice work. I've
He
seen.
does.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Jamal Upholstery, for sure.
Does he
Jamal.
work mostly for commercial guys like you guys?
I don't know. I don't think so. I see a lot of stuff on his Instagram where he's just doing a chair or a sofa.
Yeah. More often than not, we're working for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He gives
That's
us
great.
the job.
That's great.
We've hired him for at least one.
Mm-hmm.
That big banquet.
Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So that's a great source of new projects.
Yeah,
it is.
The banquet stuff is cool too. It's pretty easy.
So is he working with a lot of designers, or are these? Yeah. That's great. That's a great connection.
Yeah, and he works with Jacqueline from Donnie Douglas, who we work with a lot. So like we've built a lot of stuff that he's upholstered.
That's great.
Or rather, he's upholstered a lot of stuff that we've built, I should say. Built that radius sofa. He upholstered that.
What was that? All those ones? Is that what you're talking about that we delivered up north?
Oh, those two, the booths. We built these 4 round booths for an office building, like almost like you would see in a restaurant.
Were they red?
I think it was like an orange.
Okay.
Yeah. The channeled back one is red.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a red like that almost. Like a cherry red. Yeah, Jim does great work.
Yeah.
Just him, one guy?
It's him, and then he has the main upholstery guy, and now he has a seamstress, and he has, I think, another person who's, they do the grunt work.
Like a
kind
helper.
of stuff, I guess, yeah.
That's a good business.
Yeah.
Because there's probably not that many tools.
No.
Sewing machine,
foam cutters,
scissors. Yeah. His family's been in it for 2 generations now.
Yeah.
That's probably pretty satisfying work too. That with quick turnaround, you see something come in, a couple of days later it goes out looking beautiful.
Yep. And he does a lot of work with, I think it's Lenoba Design. It's a company in Jersey City. They are Danish, but they go back every so often, and they'll buy, like, let's say grandma dies in
Sweden, Finland, Holland, Norway,
Denmark. They'll buy up the whole house full of furniture.
Okay.
All true mid-century Danish furniture. And they'll refinish them. They'll reupholster the chairs.
Is that your favorite style?
I'm like the wind,
Okay.
I like it. Favorite, probably not. I mean, if I had to choose one thing, I'm always enamored by the Greene brothers.
Yeah. Okay.
They are a namesake. That's just sort of coincidence, but
there's just so many. There's just not that many examples.
Yeah.
It's like they only could build so much stuff.
And the craftsmen that pulled off their designs. So like, oh my God. I mean, it's we don't have the luxury for the most part of spending that amount of time on a project. It might be an interesting topic for another podcast or something, but the difference between, creating something for content or for yourself or home use or as a hobby, and creating something as part of a business where you have limited resources. Like there's a price that comes in affixed to this piece.
Sure.
And now you have to then produce it in the given amount of time so that it's profitable.
Yeah.
It's a complicated equation. It's not just like, I'm going to do this and, bust out every trick in the book.
No, you can't do that. No. I'm just curious of like what you could do your dream house. What would with you? It sounds like it'd be like the Greene brothers.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Green and Green.
Yeah.
I like an eclectic. I think I go with more of an eclectic. So a little bit of Green and Green maybe, but definitely some mid-century modern.
Yeah.
I used to think I wanted to live in an old gas station.
Isn't that funny?
With like the kind where you have the overhang where you pull in where the pumps are out there. I used to think if I could find one of those, that would be cool.
That would be cool actually to turn into a home.
Yeah.
Because you have that. Would you turn that into the outdoor space, glass it in, or would you keep it open?
I'd keep that part where the pumps are open, but they always have that glass window out front and everything. I always thought that would be pretty cool. I lived in a loft for a while in Brooklyn. It was brutal.
Because loud?
No, because it was like living, no heat, nothing, none of the amenities you'd find in a normal house. It was, for musicians.
I think a kind of a peaceful way to live would be a relatively smaller house and just furnished really simply with shaker furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for like peaceful mind, just all about sort of living simply. But with
Shakers.
You got a wife. Good luck.
I know. That's the thing. I mean, like, just getting rid of stuff. That's the thing. Like, that's my biggest thing is stuff.
Yeah. I brought home, we had these 2 side tables that we used to have the microphones attached to. And when we moved in here, I brought them home. And, I thought these were going to replace the 2 side tables that are now there's 4 side tables in the living room. I'm like,
in this expansive living room.
Yeah. My whole house is like 1,000 square feet,
It's
basically the entire downstairs is the kitchen and the living room.
So do you think that in retrospect, you should have sold them without saying anything on Facebook Marketplace?
I don't know. I'm done fighting. I'm just going to.
But that's not fighting. That's just kind of bridging it before it even happens. Like, don't even mention that we have new end tables. Just they're all of a sudden, you don't have them.
Yeah. The other ones are so junky, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to get rid of the old ones and keep the
or
new
you
ones.
Just make them disappear.
So you're talking to an experienced married guy here.
Disappear.
What you do
That's
is
what I do with the kids' toys.
the old ones are going back to the shop to get refinished, and we'll use these new ones in the time being. But the old ones just never come back. They just go right in the dumpster.
It's like when you take a cat for a ride.
I've never done that.
Our refinishing machine is over there. Republic comes once a month.
Yeah.
What is that over there?
The refinishing machine.
What is the refinishing machine?
That big
the dumpster.
That big blue can over there.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about that business around the corner.
No, it's the dumpster over there.
Yeah, those are good. They always do a good job.
There was a terrible accident. Something fell on them and they smashed into a million little bits.
There's nothing like getting rid of stuff.
Yeah. My wife says that to me sometimes. She's like, let's go up in the attic and see if there's anything there that we can get rid of. And she always wants, let us,
Oh, so she's a less is more person.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I'm less is more too, except I don't want to do the work.
Okay.
My thing is, I just came home from work. You're here all day. You go up and do it.
That's good.
That's my attitude.
Yeah.
If that's what you feel like you want to do, I'm not going to stand in your way. Something's really heavy, let me know. Put it off to the side. I'll carry it down.
I guess I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Why not?
I said, you don't need me to make any vital decisions. You see something, if it's up there in a box and I haven't touched it in 22 years, I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just get rid of it.
You got carte blanche.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff I want, I already have it in my life down here in the real house.
Right, it's accessible. That's like leftovers. My wife never eats leftovers until I throw them out. And then she's like, or if I eat them, that's
oh yeah, that's the worst.
That's when when she really wanted it.
Does she tell you? My wife says she'll get me a watermelon and she'll go, hey, I got this watermelon for you. I'll say, do you want any? Because I'll eat the whole thing. Like she buys a quarter of a watermelon. I'll eat the whole thing in one sitting. She's like, you didn't save me any watermelon?
Like you said, I got you a watermelon.
Yeah.
I got us a watermelon.
You ever have watermelon with cottage cheese?
No.
Oh, it's really good.
I like cottage cheese too. I eat that like crazy.
What do you do? Chop it up and put it inside?
No, I just kind of have them next to each other. Or maybe, what sometimes I'll do with the watermelon? If I get a whole watermelon, I'll cut a slice that's maybe 1.5 inches thick, and then I'll go around the inside and pull the rind off. So now you just have this watermelon, like the
chunk.
core. And so that's on the plate, barely fits on the plate. And then you could put a scoop of cottage cheese right on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then eat it with, actually, before you do that, then go over it with a knife to make cubes.
Oh, you're saying take like a round slice like this?
Just a round slice, just slice it. So you got a big circle, like a wheel on your plate. And then you cut it into slices or cubes, put the cottage cheese on it. That's good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I love my watermelon.
That's good for you too.
I like cottage cheese a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
You ever have watermelon in a salad?
Like a vinaigrette salad?
Yeah.
I never have.
I don't think I have, but it sounds like it would be good.
Yeah.
How about anchovies? You ever have anchovies in a salad?
Yeah.
I like anchovies.
I'm one of those you can't tell me they're there.
So I went to some bar in Vermont maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and we ate at the bar, my friend Peter and I, and the couple next to us got a salad with anchovies. But instead of it being like the little anchovies that you get in a can, it was like
those big fish.
It's just like fish.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a Caesar salad with anchovies. So I got the same thing. It was great.
Yeah. In my mother's dialect, it's alich.
All right.
And so we would have a pizza. I'm growing up. We would have pizza. And I would say, I don't like this pizza. What's because they break them up. They break up the little pizza. Like, what's this black stuff? That's nothing. That's alich. That's all I can think of. It's like, I don't like the pizza. It's a plain pizza. That's alich.
I don't like to eat like the whole fillet. Like, I feel like it's too salty, and I like salt. Like, it ends up too salty, but like broken up like that, or if it's cooked in something, I like it.
Yeah, you got to melt it in.
Yeah, I'll break it up into a salad.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I had a salad with, it was like actually the fish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My wife likes
it like that.
Yeah, they're great.
It
like
was
that.
good.
Yeah, like
I was
grilled.
like, wow, this is so good.
Sardines are great like that too. Like whole, you can get them like at like a Portuguese grocer, frozen.
That does sound good.
They grill them over like green wood, man.
Well, have you ever eaten snapper blues on the grill?
It's been a long time, but I have had it a handful of times.
So good.
Yeah.
You just catch the snappers. Like, it's a bluefish, but it's a snapper, so it's small.
They're like the baby,
Clean
the little baby ones.
Oh.
Clean it and a little garlic salt. Just kind of flash them on the grill, on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to scale them or anything. Delicious.
You ever eaten a big bluefish?
So my thing with a bluefish is like 20 inches is great.
Yeah.
You start to get into big ones. I haven't had them because I've heard bad things.
Yeah, they're not very good.
But
like they call those like 20 and less, or like cocktail blues.
Well, like at 18 to 20, because I was catching them off the shore.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept 2 of them. I cleaned them and stuffed the inside. They're probably 17 inches. They weren't quite 20. Filled the inside with pieces of cut lemon. Again, garlic salt. And then put it on the grill, a hot grill.
Oh?
Yeah. And you can't be impatient. You have to let it cook. Or if you try to flip it too soon, it's going to peel the skin off.
Yeah, yeah.
Let it cook. It was great. So that's what everybody says, like 16 to 20 inch or whatever, 12 to 20 inches, you're okay. You get into the real big ones, they're really oily and kind of gamey or something.
Yeah, the alligators we call them. Yeah. I tried to eat a big one once. It was bad. Smoked. Apparently smoked is good. Smoked bluefish.
That probably would, because it would cut out the like the gaminess.
Yeah, get some of that fat out, because fat in fish is good, but it's very strong flavored bluefish. I had bluefish in South Carolina. Delicious. But they're eating different stuff down there.
Well, that's it. You are what you eat.
Yeah.
I'll eat cod, like fish and chips, fried. And the weirdest thing is, like, I don't really like fish, but I like tuna fish. And everybody always says, that's the fishiest fish going.
Who says that?
I love tuna fish.
I like tuna fish.
Tuna is so mild.
Okay, so it is. Yeah, I like tuna.
Tell us people are crazy.
I get the Italian, the dark tuna with the oil. Oh, I like mince up an onion. I like to have a little minced up celery in mine too.
So you know why? It's a really good texture.
Mm.
Yeah,
getting some of that meaty texture. Yeah.
Yeah, I like tuna salad.
Yeah, that's why I make it. But we didn't grow up with mayonnaise. We had it like with the oil and vinegar.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So when you had a tuna sandwich, you didn't have mayonnaise in it?
No.
Wow.
Red wine vinegar.
Huh. I could see that being good, but
yeah, I'm used to mayonnaise.
No replacement for that good old Hellman's.
That's the way my wife makes it, so I learned to adjust. But that's the way I had it growing up.
You ever put pickle relish in tuna fish?
No.
I like it that way.
Yeah.
I like pickles either pickle relish or pickle celery, red onion, or white onion, or yellow onion, whatever. Yeah, I like tuna anyway. I can get it. Pizza places or like a sandwich place, like what the hell are they doing to the tuna?
Why is it all mushy?
That's a whole different animal.
I would never get a tuna sandwich at any kind of a deli or anything. I would get chicken salad. I don't know. I'm suspect.
Yeah, it's different, but it's good.
I tell you what, I like chicken salad, and with chicken salad, I don't like it when it's all mushed up. I like it like big chunks.
Yeah,
Whole Foods has pretty good chicken salad.
Making chicken salad is so easy.
You know what I love making chicken salad from? Those roaster chickens.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You could just poach up the breast, split chicken breasts that still have the rib cage and everything.
Okay, yeah.
You put, if you have chicken stock, like homemade chicken stock, you could poach it in that. It makes it even better. But with the bones and everything, it cooks up real nice. Then you just chop it up into cubes.
Well, you posted, was it last week on the grill?
Oh, those
that looked good.
Yeah, I'm still eating that. That was so my mom. I went to my parents for Father's Day. My mom sent me home with from the garden chives, rosemary, parsley, mint. That might be it. And it was sitting in the fridge for a week. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this? So I chopped it all up, real fine, olive oil. I microplaned like an entire head of garlic. Microplane all the lemon zest off of one lemon, the juice, and I marinated the chicken in that. So it was like a lot of herbs, and it was chicken thighs that I cubed up, and then I put them on the skewers and grilled it like real hot. My grill doesn't get hot enough.
Yeah, mine doesn't get hot enough either. It's got like one little tiny hot spot where stuff will get burned.
I have to buy a new grill. Actually, I've been using that grill. I did like a promotion for Coyote Grill a couple of years ago, and it's a great grill, but like all grills, they kind of go their way.
Yeah.
Mine's disintegrating rapidly.
I'm going to have to buy one. They're not that cheap. Like nothing's that cheap anymore.
No,
I know, because I just got a new grill last year.
What was it? How much about?
$900 or something. And it's not even, it's a Pit Boss, so it's not like, so I went with, I had a pellet grill. I had a Green Mountain grill, which was nice, but the first one rusted out in less than a year. They replaced it, luckily. But then after another 2 years or so, it stopped working completely. So then I got the Pit Boss, which is pellet grill on one side and charcoal and propane on the other, which is nice to have both. But the cooking surface is probably only 20 inches on either side, 18 by 20 or something. So it's not huge.
Which is pretty much all you need until you're having a party or something.
Right. But then, you could use both sides if you have to. But my wife doesn't really like the smoked flavor that much. Or that's what I prefer.
Yeah.
I like it.
She likes the propane.
What would you get, John?
What kind of grill am I going to buy?
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go with a Weber, and I'm probably going to go to my local hardware store to get it.
What, like a kettle or a grill?
Regular gas grill. I had the kettle. The kettles are fun.
Yeah.
You have natural gas out there? Or
no, propane.
Propane, yeah.
I do have natural gas now. It's on the road, so I can convert because I'm oil.
Oh, yeah, man, you should get on that.
I know. Well, I got to talk to you about that. Because
they'll probably pay for your furnace.
I converted too.
I'm going to convert because it's just a hassle.
Yeah.
Oil's expensive.
And it fluctuates. The price of oil
hate
really
having to barter with these people. Not barter, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of have to work it. I actually have some issues with a company, Petro Oil.
Petro is my company.
Yeah, I ended up going to task with them a couple of times and finally got rid of them. They had me over a barrel because I had an insurance policy with them in the beginning when we bought the house. But then when I bought the oil tank inside and got rid of it, I was able to get rid of them. But they continually tried to fill my tank for literally double what oil was going for. So I would always keep an eye out, and I would actually talk to the driver and say, it wasn't the driver, it was the office.
Sending them there.
Yeah, and they were trying to fill the tank, a 275-gallon tank.
Yeah.
And I think at the time they were trying to sell oil at least $1.50 more than what I could get it from Global in Red Bank. Yeah. And then I just went to Swanton because Swanton's nice people and they're pretty comparative with the pricing, and then they furnish the thing. But now I've got this double-lined plastic tank, whatever, for oil, and I guess I'll try to sell that on Facebook Marketplace when I convert to gas.
Yeah.
Because then when I put gas in, I can then turn the fireplace into a gas fireplace, which I think would be, the wood fireplace is great, but it's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with the creosote and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, with my asthma and my son, Jack, who doesn't live in the house, but it definitely, I can feel it. Like sometimes you can't have a fire on a windy day.
Yeah.
A windy day, you'll get the smoke in the house.
Oh, yeah.
So
We put an insert in.
that's what I'd like to,
We got a stainless steel flue and the insert.
So you can do gas or...
No, it's just wood burning. But it's an insert, so it's, you shut the door like a potbelly stove. Kind
does
of
it
thing.
really give heat in the house?
Oh, my wife hates it because she maintains that it makes the radiators not come on.
Okay.
But
Well, yeah, it would do that if it...
yeah,
But that's because it raises the temperature above the thermostat.
exactly. Like if you keep a fire going 24 hours, it'll heat the house.
How many logs would you burn in 24 hours?
I don't know. I mean,
he just burns the scrap wood.
I mean, you can burn a lot of.
you can.
I could
But
burn.
this thing, once it gets going, it burns like red hot.
Yeah, that's
and it
nice.
Stays in there. And
I
the
might call
embers-
you about who you used for that because
that place down by Monmouth Racetrack.
Okay.
Yeah. By Sipperstein's.
okay, I don't know about it, so maybe I'll look into that because we have a fireplace in the basement.
What kind of hearth do you have? Like my whole hearth is all stone, like from floor to ceiling.
Mine's brick.
And the whole thing gets warm.
Okay,
And it's got a little fan in there. It'll actually blow out hot air if you want.
so it's hooked to electricity.
Yeah, it's got a little plug.
Okay.
You know, but you don't have to run it.
Okay. Yeah, I need to look. I need to upgrade. I've been like doing all the little projects around my house. So my wife started a job maybe 9 months ago, which she's way busier than she used to be. So I'm doing a lot more just with like the house with my daughter and just like with the house. So I'm still working like I always work, but she's just super busy. So I said, okay, well, I'll take this time to try to chip away on all these projects that I have around the house. And that's why I just did the door, painted my front door.
Yeah.
I'm trying to deal with the water situation, doing projects in the yard. And then the next thing is maybe I'll renovate my basement.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it wasn't inexpensive, and that was back quite a while ago.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Nowadays, I bet it's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, so that's why maybe I'll just go with I don't know. We'll see. I could do the gas to the furnace and then down the road, think about it and maybe switch over to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because the basement doesn't have any heat in it, but it stays warm because it's like below ground kind of.
Yeah.
But it does have a fireplace in it. So I could put an insert in there or a gas burning fireplace.
Yeah.
It's actually a shame that the basement isn't being utilized the way it should be. And part of that actually is, and I keep saying this, I said, our biggest hurdle is the stuff. I'm not going to do any
usually
should see
come
my
full
basement.
circle. Yes.
I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. If I can't get rid of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, if I can get rid of all the stuff, this is going to be a dream job for me because I'm going to set up a table saw in the basement. I'll set up an extra chop saw in the basement because I know I've said this before. Anytime I do any work in the house, I walk back and forth to the barn a couple hundred times.
And it's not, it's like what, 100 yards?
At least, yeah. And it's just like a screwdriver. I can't open a paint can. Because yesterday I was trying to work on Jack's boat and I bring the fiberglass out into the boat. And I've already gone to the thing back and forth to the boat like 3 or 4 times. I get in the boat and I'm trying to open the can of fiberglass with a plastic spatula.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, shit, I guess I got to get out of the boat again and walk over to the barn.
Oh. Yeah, like where do you put all this stuff? If you need to work in the basement, where does all this stuff in the basement go? It's got to be gone.
It's got to be gone. And you know what? We don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need, and I'm as big because I got like clothes in my closet. I mean, I got a tiny little closet, but I'm only wearing quarter of the stuff that I've got in my closet.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. That's your closet. You can do with it what you want. But it's everybody's basement.
I'm saying, so I'm a little guilty of not taking the time to get rid of stuff and downsize a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to come across all the kids' stuff down there too, probably.
Most of their, so now it's like adult kind of like adapters, wires, some adapter, you know, whatever, some kind of cord for something. I don't know what it goes to.
An iPhone box from 2012.
Yeah. So
yeah, I have one of those.
I think Michael got a job down next to where he went to school. So he went down to school. He went to school in Maryland, and he's working, I don't know, whatever, 20 minutes from where he went to school. And before he leaves, now he's in a sling now because he had shoulder surgery, but he's getting his mobility back. But I think I'm going to say to him, before you leave, anything here,
put some tape on it if you want to keep it.
Get rid of it now, or I'm going to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what has to happen. And the funny thing is, you can get rid of stuff, because when we bought the house in Vermont, it came with all of the stuff in the house because the woman had passed away. And at the time, I'm young and dumb. I'm thinking, this is great. There's all kinds of cool shit in here. And within like 3 weeks, I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with all this stuff? And I ended up just getting a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything with it. You know, I couldn't move. I got pictures of the old house and just like stuff like hanging, you know. I'm like, that's kind of a nice thing. Maybe I'll spend my entire week on eBay to try to sell this $8 product.
Right.
You know,
And then you got to pay 12% to eBay and shipping.
And then it's like, forget it.
There you go.
I mean, I did put a lot of stuff on the road, and stuff just,
It disappears.
just the perfect free sign.
Yeah.
Yep.
The free sign makes it. Anyone who's inquisitive,
Yeah.
if they see free, then it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We
'cause
get rid of anything on Craigslist for free.
It's always kind of a question. You know, you drive by like a pile of stuff on the side of the road. You're like, can I take that? Like you see something that you might want, and you're like, is that actually, like, are they throwing that out? Is somebody coming to pick it? You know, but if you put the free sign,
Yeah.
then
It's
they
gone.
know. Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to end it.
Cool. This was fun.
Yeah. That was a good one. 2.5 hours.
I'm looking forward to listening to it.
Let me know how it is. It is like 1984. The book goes off and
my God.
comes back. But we won't.
we won't get into that. That's another one.
Want to thank everybody for hanging with us today.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, Rob and I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. If you want to help support the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, we appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in.